Got tea bags in this. Oh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Hang on. I was going to delay the stream slightly. 1 sec. 1 second, y'all. Oh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny as anything. 1 sec. Let me pour this water back in and hope it doesn't spill everywhere. There we go. Oh, that's rich. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, Madeline's not here. What's she doing here? That is too funny. Let me turn this music off. Oh my goodness, everyone. That was quite funny. So, I got my tea as usual set up. You know, as I usually do. You know, as you do. And I'm pouring it and realizing, wow, that tea looks really weak. I don't see any color to it. Because, like the genius that I am, I naturally forgot to put the tea leaves in. Well, the tea bags in, I should say. Oh, it's just too funny. It's just too funny, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Welcome, everyone, to another one of these streams. We got a lot to talk about. Not a big stream today. It's gonna be a nice little concise one. Yeah, I wasn't even boiling leaf juice. I was just boiling water, apparently. Like a weird, lame person, you know? Just I poured myself a glass of hot water, and we're going to be in for a treat, I guess. Oh, my goodness. Welcome, everyone, again to another one of these videos. Nothing too serious today. It's going to be mostly a very casual, relaxed kind of stream. A couple things I do want to talk about, of course, is going to be some discussions of recent controversies, naturally. But I also want to talk about some recent news with DC and Marvel and all that. DC has failed to actually do anything with their games and licenses, while Marvel has done quite a lot with it recently. By the way, how am I coming in with audio, by the way? I'm still figuring out this new mic, whose colors I just adore to show off at any given moment on these streams. So, welcome if you're coming in. Let me lower this slightly because I feel like I always feel like I'm too tall for my chair and all that. I'm basically on the ground because my height is so well, my height is what it is. Actually, no. Now I'm too low. Well, there you go. That's better. That's better. Audio's good. I'm glad because every so often I do this and I'm like, y'all say, oh well, actually you're coming in too soft. The guest is too loud, and I want to make sure that everything is all right. I'm glad. Okay. Couple of housekeeping things. I do want to address the big controversy on this channel from, recently. Listen, I know it's a lot going on right now. Listen, I heard the reports. I heard everyone's opinions. I know. I hear you. I got all the comments. I got all the feedback. I listened. And I decided to talk about the controversy. But to help, someone assembled a Word doc for me. I assembled the dreaded Word doc right here. It's the crimes, my various crimes listed right here. The crimes of... It's a totally serious discussion. It's very serious. The allegations, I've listened to them. I have listened to all the allegations, and I've listed them all right here. There are many of them, I might add. It's very concerning. I just want to prepare you guys. It's what you're about to see may shock you. I love this. This is so great. This is beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. This Moomin. Someone on size 4. Oh God, I forget who designed. Actually, I know exactly who designed it. I have my on my sheet right here. One second. I have my list of avatars. I have it on here. One sec. It's yeah, no. So yeah, this is my I'm gonna be now a Moomin now. That's gonna be what I am. It's gonna be my true identity on all streams moving forward. I'm just gonna put a Moomin as my icon. Okay, so I'm realizing some of you guys don't know what Moomins are. Moomins are iconic, cozy. You know, I actually just play the Neuralities video and just call it a day at that. You know, actually has no. I'm not gonna check that. One sec. Yeah. So the Moomins right here.
Is rain pattering down your window.
I just play this the whole time.
Meeting an old friend and catching up over a hot drink.
Me talking about Moomins.
A good book. I feel these things in my bones.
See?
Not only sweeps up your house,
Moomins.
just her that she is able to vary depending on vibe.
Why aren't
Popular franchises like less so when the
Moomin
Mama's complete assurance that everything is going to be just fine. Don't you worry, dear. Is the perfect accomplice to Moomin Papa's blundering plans. They all just work really great together. This leads me to my next topic.
Moomins.
If it isn't about found families, then what even is the point?
I feel like Lily probably stole that from Neuralities, but still, yeah. So Moomins, that's gonna be. We're now making this a Moomin channel. It's gonna be now just entirely Moomins, nothing but Moomins. I'm gonna stop this gag. I think it went on long enough. But yeah, so that was. I do want to acknowledge though some of the feedback from last video. I have been listening. This next upcoming video for this Friday is going to be a lot. What's the word I'm looking for? Different, more in my wheelhouse, less controversial, less of a big deal. So I'm naturally going to be talking about FNAF on Friday. Which is always a great topic if you want to avoid making anyone angry or upset with you. Anyway, so yeah, Moomins are great. I love Moomins. It is a at my local Barnes and Noble they have this this whole section just for Moomins. It's just Moomin merch, and all of it is Moomins all the time. In fact, let me adjust my wallpaper here as I'm talking. I'm going to change the wallpaper. Make it appropriate for such a controversial occasion. You know, I'll make sure it's all good. So, naturally, we're going to make it. Come on. There we go. Now, let's make this appropriate here. Let's do this. Let's do it right. Let's do it right this time. Here we go. This is the proper... This is the appropriate... Why didn't it change? It didn't change. That's unfortunate. Anyway, let's move on to this. Nick Wolf, thank you for the first super chat of the day. Linkara thankfully taught me about Moomin prior. Hey, Moomins are great. Also, speaking of Linkara, another groundskeeping thing coming up recently. It's going to be, let me bring it up real quick. Comic Drake posted this on Twitter just recently, and I feel this is the most up-to-date update of it. Not cool. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, he basically turned off Twitter except to promote this. Right here, we got some upcoming stuff. So, let's take a look right here. On Saturday, June 28th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is to say 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I'll be taking part in the Comics for the Cure live stream. We're going to be playing Among Us. I was talking to Drake. Basically, he said, just stay on as long as you want. And that's basically what I'll be doing. I'll be streaming with a bunch of other creatives, including Linkara, which means I will get to drop Linkara out of an airlock in Among Us. I'm going to vote him out or get killed by Linkara. Now that I've said that, he's going to kill me first, I'm pretty sure. But also we got Alex Lemon, Amazing PSM, myself, The Blurred Without Fear, Comic Drake, of course, Comic Crackle, Comic Tropes, Critical Rants, Data Entertain, Deja 2, Godzilla Mendoza, Imaginary Access, Implicitly Pretentious, Linkara, again, The Mary Marvelite, Michaela J. Lard, Mullet Man Comics, New Comics, Solid JJ, probably the biggest name of the entire group, I might add, and Troyo Boyo 17, as well as potentially more guests that have yet to be announced. Hey, Ant, should I be worried? Should I be surprised and worried that the anime hater grifters aren't screaming about Marvel Tokon? I'm talking about the ones that think that hating Mineta makes them a genius. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for a second. There have been some strange things with Marvel Tokon. As optimistic as I am about it, there are a lot of concerning details. But yeah, no, this is going to be a massive, massive stream. We're going to be raising money for cancer research, a very important cause, one close to all of our hearts in some level or another. Some of us closer than others. And we're going to be raising some money and it'll be a good time. And we'll play Among Us. And donations then, if you save your donations for these streams until then, that's fine too. We're going to be raising it all for a very good cause. And you'll get to see me fight Linkara. That'd be fun, right? Linkara seems like a really cool dude. I don't want to make fun of him. He seems like a really chill guy. And Drake, I know, I've streamed with a couple times. He's really chill. A lot of these guys, it's going to be the first time I ever interact with them in any way, shape, or form. Now, here's one thing that's funny. I know for a fact Linkara has at least seen one of my videos before. For better or worse, it's the Lily Orchard Pokemon stream. But hey, otherwise, let me see some comments here. Am I the only one who thought that the BTS video for Marvel Tokon that played immediately after the trailer kind of dragged on a bit? Most of the behind-the-scenes things from Marvel Tokon, or most games, I feel, drag on too often. Will it be on Twitch, YouTube, or both? I don't know where anyone else will be streaming from. I will be streaming exclusively from YouTube, though. Blue Baron, thank you for Super Chat. I hope they leave Ms. Marvel alone. Character cool. Yeah, I love Ms. Marvel. I think she's a great character, and I'm going to discuss that a little bit in a second. How do you feel about Injustice? We'll get to that in a second, too. Eric Debunks has a really good video responding to the Chuds being gross in response to Ms. Marvel being in the game. Let's take a look at that in a second as well. I think that's a good idea to watch that. I'll bring that one up real quick, just so I don't forget it. Because there's a lot of gross stuff with Ms. Marvel that's been going on lately, and I'm really uncomfortable with it, but what are you going to do? Alrighty then, let me bring that up real quick. Oh, yeah, Yellow Flash. Ugh. Maybe I'll just respond to the Yellow Flash video if that's going to be the case. I'll bring it up just in case. There we go. Cool. But yeah, no, that's pretty good. I'd rather give attention to someone who's actually good like Eric Debunks than Yellow Flash. Yeah, it's a lot of Islamophobia. I was going to watch a video about Linkara's old comic, but it was bad and chuddy and I turned it off. Was that the Gamer from Mars video? Gamer from Mars did a video recently about Linkara that I thought, the video itself I thought was kind of not great. But the way he marketed it with the very exploitative thumbnail, the very exploitative title, the focus on the old comic that Linkara... And look, Linkara wrote a bad comic when he was like 19. Okay? Whatever. Who cares? If you're creative, you've made bad art. I've made bad art last week. I can't make fun of anyone for making bad art like over 2 decades ago. It's not cool. Or less than 2 decades ago. I'm not sure how old Linkara is. I actually asked Lewis if he saw your video about Channel Awesome, and he said that he liked what y'all said about both him and Lindsay Ellis. That's really cool, actually. I always think Linkara is really cool. I like Linkara quite a lot. I really do think if you haven't seen, was it Winter of '83? I think that's his analog horror series. It's really good, Winter of '83. If you watch that, it's excellent. Nick Wolf, thank you for super chat. Would high top films make for a M common style debate? Ooh, a manga common style debate with high top films. I would not mind that. I think high top films had a lot of opinions I disagree with, but I would debate him. I feel like he would at least be reasonable enough to discuss it. You know, some people, you talk to them and you're like, there's no way I would ever be able to talk to this person. They're too arrogant, they're too whatever. I feel like high top films, at the very least, would engage with a discussion. And I think that's more than I can say for some people online. Manga Common also, he can engage in a discussion. Because at the end of the day, there is the common interest in the media, you know? And that's what it comes down to. A lot of chuds online, what they do is they focus almost exclusively on winning. You know, they want to win the fight. I don't want to win a fight. I want to just discuss, you know? I want to have a good time. And I feel sometimes, move my camera over here. I feel like I'm a little over too much. There we go. And I feel like sometimes they get, I don't know, it just sucks. But no, I would be down for that. Nick Wolf again, thank you for super chat. Linkara is 38, I want to say. That sounds about right. Yeah, no, Linkara I feel is, I'm excited to stream with all these people. They're all, some of them especially, I think inspired my own style of reviewing. Linkara, of course, definitely. Comic Drake, as much as it's funny to get to talk to him so often, but yeah, he inspired me a lot too when I was starting out. Comic Tropes also, definitely. Troy Oboyo, definitely. Solid JJ didn't inspire my creative style, but I love his work. Implicitly Pretentious, same thing. Basically everyone, Blurred Without Fear, I think I've, when doing the Mary Jane video especially, Blurred Without Fear's videos on the all-new Venom really put in perspective again what the fan speculation was leading up to the reveal. I think he's really cool. I think he's a lot of really good points. Obviously not everyone I've seen a ton of, but who I have seen, I think they're fantastic, and I'm excited to talk to them. Godzilla Mendoza has made some solid videos. I'm not going to lie, I don't know if I've seen... Oh wait, no, I have seen Godzilla Mendoza. Oh, no, I know who he is now. Okay, I can't believe I didn't connect to my brain. Yeah, no, I've seen his videos before. I think he's really cool. He has a lot of Spider-Man videos, especially, right? I really dig that. I like his style. I like them quite a lot. Again, something else I looked at when doing with the history of Mary Jane, I was watching some of his stuff too to freshen up on some details I'd forgotten about. Just like a lot of the character designs from Marvel Tokon, I just find them over-designed. I personally just like the anime art style. We got the Ghost Rider and Doom were the only designs I think are solid. I like Ms. Marvel's design quite a bit. I think that Iron Man's a little too over-designed. I think Star-Lord's is over-designed. I think Spider-Man's is definitely over-designed. But I like Cap, I like Ms. Marvel, I like Doom, and I like Ghost Rider quite a bit. In that roster. Will there be Injustice 2? There is an Injustice 2. It exists. We have Injustice 2 exists. You can play it right now if you really want to. But let's first and foremost, though, I do want to bring up some news that just happened fairly recently. Like, I'm talking like today. That I think is a follow-up to an older video of mine. Entertainment Weekly has this exclusive. Wonder Woman is coming back to film. James Gunn, the writer-director of Superman and the co-head of DC Studios, gives EW an exclusive update on the status of the Amazon from Themyscira. I am excited as all hell for this. Y'all have no idea. I am so excited. Oh yeah, Storm looks really good too in Marvel Tokon. That's also true. Yeah, so Superman, Wonder Woman's coming out soon. They're working on the script. I'm excited. Venom Wi-Fi, thank you, Super Chat. Did you like Spider-Man Web of Shadows? I did like Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a really fun game. Not perfect, has some flaws, but I really dug it. Now, one thing that who will not be coming back, Gal Gadot will not be returning, and neither will Patty Jenkins. So it'll be a different creative direction for Wonder Woman, which I think is what everyone kind of wants. I'm not a. I don't hate the DCEU Wonder Woman. I think the first film especially is really good. I think 84 is all right, but has a lot of problems, especially the body swapping mechanics, and there's a lot, and of course Gal Gadot with her, affiliation with a certain country engaged in an ongoing military conflict right now that's terrorizing young civilians. That's a whole thing. I don't want to get into that right now because I want to focus on superheroes, but you can't separate the politics of Gal Gadot from anything she does, for better or worse. So that's a factor as well. I think, I was going to say this in the original Wonder Woman video I was working on, but I think Rhea Ripley could be a good Wonder Woman. I mean, the way I see it, like a lot of WWE actors have become really good superheroes. I could see Rhea Ripley doing a good job. Just, give her like different hair design and all that. She could probably pull it off. Oh, Patty Jenkins has views on that conflict as well. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Love that. Nick Wolf, thank you for Super Chat. Only thing that sucks about Carol not being Ms. Marvel anymore is that the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, she was a major in the army, meaning she outranked Cap. That's a fair point. Venom Wi-Fi. I prefer the Snyder Justice League Wonder Woman. I don't disagree. I think that the Snyder Cut is some good work, but I do think that undeniably the Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman is probably, of the first film, is the best depiction of her, I think. Because I'm bored, thank you for Super Chat. This kind of reminds me of when Marvel was at the height of the MCU while DC was stuck in the Snyderverse. Yeah, honestly, it's funny that cycles back and forth, because at that time, when Marvel was at their peak with film, DC was putting out some peak games. And now the pendulum's kind of swung. I'm not saying Marvel, the MCU, is bad necessarily. It's doing all right. And I think Thunderbolts really indicated they're on the right track. I think Agatha All Along was a pretty good series. I'm actually kind of excited for, for Ironheart as well. I think that's going to be interesting. I'll discuss that later. But, but DC in the gaming department is doing terribly. I don't think it's any surprise that, while the Wonder Woman movie's been announced, unfortunately, as mentioned multiple times, that's not the case with everything Wonder Woman related, because Wonder Woman, the game, has been axed as of late February. And yeah, I know that EA Games cut the Black Panther game, but there's still a Black Panther game coming out, and there's still Black Panther content coming out for other games. Marvel Rivals Black Panther showing up. There's the Captain America Black Panther game that's set in the 40s. That's still coming out. But Wonder Woman was the only game featuring Wonder Woman you can play as her, and that's now gone. So it's very disappointing. We are missing a major aspect of the DC Trinity in games. And the last time Wonder Woman appeared, well, did you all play? I mean, listen, this is the last... You want to see the last time Wonder Woman appeared in a video game? I'm going to show you. This is the last time Wonder Woman appeared in a game. Right here. This is it right here. Bring it up right here. There we go. Spoilers for, There we go. That's the last time. This is it. There we go. Nope. Suicide Squad kills Justice League. It's Superman killing Wonder Woman. That's the last time she showed up. Being killed. Dying. In front of everyone. Now, here's the thing that's pretty wild. Eventually the game did end. It's a live service game, so they ended it eventually. And they revealed that every single member of the Justice League that turned evil was actually a clone made by Brainiac. With one exception, and that exception was Wonder Woman. So canonically, she's just dead. Like, she's dead. Canonically, here's where she dies in this continuity.
You'll recover.
This is the real Wonder Woman in this game. And she dies. She gets her heart burned out by Superman, and she dies. And that's it. Oh, and I guess multiverses, but that actually came up before this game, and now is impossible to find. The game's just gone. Multiverses is erased from time itself, perpetually. There's no trace of it left anymore. Nick Wolf, thank you for Super Chat. For a Superman game, you may need to Metroid it. Have a cold open with full power soups, but end it with super flare technique. Time skip, start at 0. It's not a bad idea. I like that idea, actually. Kind of, maybe it gets exposed to krypton, has to recover his powers, or gets exposed to red sunlight, something like that. That could work. When Spiracy, Proto-Morphid, Cosmic Invasion is legit my most hype game of 2025. Yes! Let's talk about this for a second, shall we? Let's talk about the game I'm hyped over above all else, in part because it decided to do what I've been begging them to do for years. And that is, I made a whole video about it, y'all. So excited for this. Look at this beautifulness. Look at it. Wait for a second. Look at her. Oh, not whatever. Look at her. Look at her. Oh, it's so great. I love this. Look how amazing that is. That's so cool. Oh, I love this game. It'll be amazing. I cannot wait. Sentinels and everything. Oh my god, I adore this. Look how cool it is. It's such a classic beat-em-up style. I love that. Wolverine, everyone, you know. You got Venom and She-Hulk tossing guys around. I love it. And look, here's what it comes down to. Also, first off, yes, to make a good game, you just gotta give She-Hulk big-ass muscles. But two, and this is very important that DC's not getting, you do not need to make a massive game with these characters. You don't have to make the big AAA announcement game. You don't have to make the big billion-dollar game to make a game that I'm hyped over, that people are hyped over, people are excited over. Just address what fans want. Make a game that's fun, engaging, and cool. You don't have to play it for like a year for it to be worthwhile. You just have to make it fun enough to play. And it's simple, you know? You look at Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, right? The problem with that game is that they tried to take a game that was going to be like the Arkhamverse and turned it into a live service loot 'em shooter game. And they made it this massive, expensive project that could never recoup its money unless it was popular for 3 years straight with microtransactions and all that. You don't have to do that. Just make a game that's focused, that's based on the specific interests and peculiarities of its audience, and that's all you need to do. You know, look at Marvel Rivals. That game's not the most expensive game to make in the world or maintain, but it did something really well, really right. And it's a free-to-play game, too, so you can just jump in and play. And it's generous with its in-game purchases, too, which is nice. Bite Chiapio thank you for Super Chat. MCU shadow dropping the champions with his lineup. Yeah, right? I love that. There's some champions implications with some of these games, not gonna lie. Especially Tokon, but I'll get to that in a second. Jack Sheehy. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard DC Studios might have video games connected to their main universe, kind of like Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, so that was based on James Gunn's initial announcements for the DCU. That he was going to have an interconnected continuity between games, movies, television, animation, and games. As of now, because games have been canceled and all that, I don't know if games is necessarily going to be totally true. It might be part of the Elseworld stories that he's making, like with Batman with Bob Pattinson and Joker 2, but I don't really know for sure. Because I'm bored, thank you for Super Chat. I wish there was more Ghost Rider stuff. In concept, he's the coolest idea for a character I've ever heard. Yeah, I agree. Ghost Rider, A, should be Marvel Rivals, but B, Ghost Rider in general is a really great character, and it's a shame that his adaptations have as of yet been so underwhelming. Ghost Rider is still canon in the MCU if you count Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's not enough, I think. Nick Wolf, thank you for Super Chat. On the subject of Marvel games, would you consider reacting to full-fat videos, pitch, for a Captain America Return of the Stone game? Solid pitch, Imo. I might do that. I might do that today. That'd be fun. Midnight Suns is goated. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, Goober. Midnight Suns is an excellent XCOM style game. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the DLC. We get to play as Venom and Deadpool and all that. I think it's really cool. And another example of a game that is really great and simple. And again, it's proof that Marvel... The thing also with Marvel, too, is that Marvel Games works with a lot of... is really licensing out its properties to other developers to do the work. You know, taking a look at very skilled developers that are very skilled in certain niches and saying, hey, we trust you to make this game good. You make it, you know? Like, again, with Tokon, it's Arc.
I fight for freedom.
Yeah, you passed the audition with that?
And Arc has obviously made...
Let's do this!
Like, if you play Dragon Ball Fighter Z, that's their bread and butter. Like, look at this. Look at this gameplay. It's fantastic right here. It's like you can tell it's also Kamala Khan in a fighting game as a playable character. It's amazing. And you can just see that, honestly, Kamala Khan, I think, plays a lot like Boo from Fighter Z so far, which I'm down for. I like playing Boo. So I'm excited to play as Kamala Khan. More so than Spider-Man, I'm surprised to say.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man at your service. Spider Sense. I love it! Yeah. And another amazing victory.
It is weird hearing the English, not gonna lie, because I was watching the Japanese one before. See, I don't like...
A new manga by...
go away. I don't like how they do Star-Lord here, though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Star-Lord's design. I think it's too complicated. Well, actually, with it slowed down, it's not so bad, but I think it's a little over the top at times. The mask, anyway. Spider-Man's, though, I don't like. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Spider-Man, all right? I just gotta spin around a little bit to see him better. But,
Wow, time to commit it to memory, kid.
Here you go, right here. So you see right here the problem? There's no belt around the waist. It's just a diamond shape that goes down to the pelvis area. You need that diamond shape, the diamond belt around the scale of the body because it gives it like dimension. It gives it like a divide. It just looks weird to have that much blue. And even the shoulders being separate from the rest of it like that, like the weird like blue that goes up the shoulders. I don't like that at all. I don't like how that looks. It looks off-putting. It's not a big design choice, but it changes how it looks in terms of the layout of the costume. We got a lot of super chats all of a sudden. Holy crud. Okay, let me get back a second here. Let me look. Oh, wow, a bunch at once. Okay, hang on. Let me catch up here. Okay, Bye Chiepio Dara, thank you for super chat. I mean, with the live action shows, my girl Kamala looks fucking badass in a fighting game. And if they add magic, well, there is no bad game with her in it. And they are best known for Guilty Gear. Yeah, Arc is best known for Guilty Gear. I, for one, would absolutely love to see magic. And we're going to get into that in a bit. I'm going to get into the fighting game because we're going to make our own roster for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. It's going to be our community roster that we hope to see, a wish list of 32 characters. We'll get to that in a second, and I'm going to leave the door open for surveys and votes as well for the community. We'll get to that. And then once you have that decided, we'll relax with some reactions to other videos too. But we'll get to all that in a second. Nick Wolf, Arc, please have Wolverine and Ragnar crossover. Oh my god, that'd be badass as hell. I would love that in a heartbeat. You kidding? Sorry. Jack Sheehy, do you think Marvel Comics should have a Crisis on Infinite Earths event where it refreshes their continuity and gives their characters a fresh start? They did it. It's called Secret Wars. Essentially. I don't think Marvel should. I think DC works better with that. Marvel, I don't think does. Olivia Williams, it's too bad Guardians of the Galaxy game flopped. It was pretty good. Yeah, that was a really good game. But you know what the thing about that is, when that game didn't do as well, Marvel didn't pivot their entire strategy. They just changed it. The real pivot for Marvel started when the Avengers live service game didn't do too well. I think its failure resulted in them really adjusting their strategy in a way that works out well for them, I think. Meow Neon, thank you for Super Chat. Wow, thank you for the generous Super Chat. Hear me out. Adapt Pak Young Superman's run as a video game. Pak Young Superman. Do it Symphony of the Night style. You start off uber powerful, get depowered, get repowered by leveling up. It's a logical way to make a playable Superman game. I like that too. I like that quite a lot. And that's kind of the Metroidvania idea from before as well. I think it's a good idea. It would be a little difficult, I think. I think you should have like open terrain, but gain powers instead, as opposed to like the more maze-like Metroidvania style. But I think it'd be a really good idea. For a Metroidvania style game, though, I think Wonder Woman might work better from the perspective of like the Metroidvania maze travel, going through the whole landscape, choosing your own path kind of thing, though. But I think it's a really good idea. Because I'm bored, watching Kamala just reminds me of when they tried to make Inhumans bootleg mutants. Yeah, that's a fair point. I remember that too. By Giuseppe Odera, and that's the trans goddess Bridget, by the way. Where's Bridget? As in, like, voicing Kamala? That's cool. I love Bridget. Bridget's great. I'll do a Bridget video eventually. I mentioned Bridget in my very first video, and that made it go slightly viral online because people were getting angry at Bridget being mentioned as trans. People are ridiculous. User225. Speaking of superhero games, y'all seen Dispatch? I have not seen Dispatch. I'll take a look at that for a second. Because I'm bored, a moment of silence for the people that like the original version of Guardians of the Galaxy. Not gonna lie, it does look like probably fun. Yeah, no. OG Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty great. I think it's a really cool team. But it's been completely usurped in public consciousness by Star-Lord and his team. Comet Z, thank you for Super Chat. Love seeing Asian studios doing their take on Marvel, but it sucks a lot of the fun when weeaboos show up, showing no respect for comics and its history, saying the characters are quote-unquote good now, or quote-unquote fixed. There was actually a really good video I saw, and I forget who put it up. It might be Comic Drake, I'm not sure, about Japanese comic book fans. Let me take a look at that real quick. Let me see if I can find it. But Japanese American comic book fans. I mean, people forget the creator of Trigun is a big Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man especially is big in Japan. So it was, it was Comic Drake. Yeah, it was Comic Drake. Maybe we can have real quick.
I am constantly hearing from people that manga is superior to
because I'm bored. Thoughts on the Injustice games? I love the Injustice games. They're really
Western
cool.
comics, but I've never really understood
so,
specifically for their shop. And Tomohito explained that
first off, watch Comic Drake's whole video. It's really, really good. But yeah, no. So so Drake did some interviews with comic book fans from Japan who are fans of Western comics. 1 second.
They're just the opinions of people that work at comic shops. What about regular Japanese comic fans? Well, for that, I went to Tokyo Comic-Con, where Japanese fans can get a chance to meet professional comic book writers,
watch the whole
artists,
video, it's really good.
Experience the vast history of Western comic books, show off their cosplays, and get their hands on merch from their favorite Western franchises. Just like in America, despite being literally called Comic-Con, the focus and emphasis is more so given to big movie and TV franchises. But what's great is that because so much talent is already in town for the convention, the Brave and Bold Comic Art Expo, which is not affiliated with Tokyo Comic-Con, happens the week prior, and it is all about meet and greets for Western comic book artists. At these festivals, I met up with some of my Japanese friends. This is Miki Okazaki, a cover artist who has recently broken into the Western comic book industry. Yuta here has been a fan of the channel for a good while, and Tomato wasn't able to sit down for an interview because she was too busy slapping the shit out of me at the Muscle Girl bar that she works at.
I am immensely jealous. That's so cool.
Here's a few snippets.
Drake living the dream over there. 1 second, right here.
Imagination to characters. I think that is the most important thing about comic books. So I really like digging history.
There's no opportunity to know what is out there. So these years, Marvel or DC movies are very popular, so I think people get to know about it.
I watched.
Yeah, okay, so that's good enough for right now. You really should watch the whole video. It's a lot of fun. I don't want, again, with Drake, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to show you the whole video because I really want you to go over and take a look at it. But the gist of it there is that Japanese fans are big Marvel fans. There's a lot of Marvel popularity of Marvel over there. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I get to a few super chats real quick. Sorry about that. Very gassy today, it seems. Well, a lot of super chats. Wow, people are really excited to talk. Hey, right here. So, Thoughts and Justice. Okay, so the guy 493. The biggest issue with the Avengers live service game, it felt like you were playing the MCU stunt doubles instead of its own thing. Yeah, that's a factor too, but there were other things too. Like the gameplay always felt very stiff. You know, it felt like you were always like when the impacts never felt quite strong enough. You always felt like nothing. I don't know. It didn't feel satisfying to play the same way that like something like Marvel Rivals does, and I'm guessing that Tokon will be like too. Jonathan Frostathon. That's a cool name. Thanks for the chat. Random, but it's cool to see Yo reacting to a studio still fan dub. I'm one of the voice actors from that studio. I'm Crowan in their King of Fighters 15 dub. That's really cool. I am always down for that. That's awesome. Oh, man, that's really cool. I love that. I love fan dubs. I think they're... Oh, wait, this is a fan dub? This isn't... Oh, it's a fan dub. I didn't realize it's a fan dub. Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize it was a fan dub. I thought it was like an actual thing for a second there. It's incredible. Okay, cool. I'm glad that you... that's so cool. I didn't even realize it was a fan dub. I thought it was like an official English announcement trailer. That's funny. That's cool. No, dude, congratulations. Still awesome. Jack Sheehy. I think the Inhumans could work as a subspecies of mutants that went to live on the moon millions of years ago. It could, but that's not how they worked it out. But there are connections to Inhumans and mutants to an extent, beyond just the ones replacing the other. User 225. If the Star Wars hotel still existed, what if a guest showed up completely decked out in a non-Star Wars cosplay? Imagine it as Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. That would be so awesome. Adrian Parchman, late to the party / Food Network tax. Oh, dude, that's fantastic. I love it. I see size Casey Anthony taxes are still in effect. Wait, why are you saying ant like that? Like, I feel like I'm missing something here. Let me just go up around a little second. I'm missing something? True shows psychology. Yeah, it's a good fandom. By Chip Udera, Bridget and Kamala shared Japanese VAs. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I love that so much. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so I'm gonna save the yellow flash reaction for a bit later. Right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into this little project I have right here. Oh, wait, what are you doing here? Cool. So it's good. Cool. So right now we have the following characters. Let's bring this up real quick. We got Cap, right? We got Captain America. We got Iron Man. And this is the token roster right now. Okay, so we got Iron Man, right? We got Spider-Man. Where's it going? This looks pretty good. Nah, this looks pretty good. I think it was this one. Yeah. We got Spidey. We got Spidey right here. I'm going to make these guys a little smaller too. So we got Spidey. Got Iron Man. We got Ghost Rider. I know it's Johnny Blaze, but bear with me on this one. Just trying to get images here. We got Storm. Okay, this one is a little more appropriate, I think. I don't think the one I was originally going to go with is going to be appropriate for this. We got Star-Lord. We got Kamala Khan. I like this one a little more. Got Kamala Khan. All right. And we got Dr. Doom. This is so far the current roster for Marvel Tokon, right? But what if we had some more? What if we had a cast that's a little bit bigger? Let's talk about it. So, Angels Art and Gaming smashes the room because of the King of Fighters fan dimension. Speaking of, I want Gambit. Oh, we may get to Gambit. We may get to Gambit yet. Don't you worry about a thing. Okay, because I'm bored. Isn't it just Marvel vs. Capcom without the Capcom? It's so much more than that, actually. It is basically that. It's better than It's better than that, though, because Arc System is way better. Angel Art and Gaming, hear me out. Billy Kane style Gambit. That might be a good idea. The Guy, 493. Paul should be the final boss. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. DWP 102589. The Rise of Skywalker was in response to The Last Jedi Backlash. J.J. Abrams was rehired and had a script before The Last Jedi came out. No interviews have mentioned The Last Jedi Backlash. That's fair, but the film was, until it was filmed, does not mean we know for sure. That's the problem. Because for better or worse, a shooting script is not the same as the final script they use for a film. And yes, we are adding villains. So the idea is, I want to make... Move these guys over a little bit. I want to make, 32 groups, which means 4 eights, basically. 4 sets of 8. So, we're going to have a lot of characters here. We're going to have the group discuss. I'm going to say who I think should be in the game. We're going to try some choices we're going to get the obvious out of the way first. But we're going to include some oddballs, some fun characters from Marvel history. And I'm going to include some that chat decides. So, we'll go with that. It'll be our community roster. But let's get the obvious ones out of the way, who we know is going to be in the game no matter what. You know, the obvious ones. Sawesomeness, thank you for Super Chat. Who's your favorite Watchmen character? You know what? Watchmen character, probably... You know, I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, I would have said Rorschach. But as I've gotten older, I think I've gone more for Night Owl. I think I feel more sympathy for his story in the game, in the original comic a lot more. Comet Z, add Good Boy, Goodness Silva to the roster. We may. User 225, my favorite Marvel Tokon character is Anthony Gramuglia, whose ult is preceded by his signature catchphrase, "It's Gramuglin time." I love that. Because I'm bored, Deadpool is annoying, but meta fighting moves would be cool. By Chiapiodera, Jubilee and Magic or I Riot. Yeah, right? Okay. That's fair. Let's get the obvious ones out of the way who we know for a fact they'll do, just because it will make it easier to get to the fun stuff if we get the obvious out of the way. First and foremost, we know you gotta have this guy. He's gonna be in the game. Hulk. Hulk's gonna be in the game. Like, we know that. We all know Hulk's gonna be in the game. It's not even fun to even joke about that. We know Hulk's in the game. Not a question. Also, Thor. Thor is obviously gonna be in the game. That's not even a question. He's in some of the stages so far. Let's get Hulk in there, right? Hulk, he's there. We know it. Cool. All right? Actually, I'll move these guys over a bit under my avatars, so it'll be a little easier to make room with all this. So right there, Thor, Hulk, yeah, obvious. Another obvious one I think that we all know is going to be the game. Not a question. You gotta have this guy in the game. It's too obvious not to. Let's just put him in right now. Wolverine. We all know Wolverine's in the game. Like, he's obviously in the game. It's not even a question. He's there. And by that same metric, another character who's going to be in the game, I'm reasonably confident, is a bit of a long-range fighter. Distance guy, Hawkeye. More of a range guy, kind of have a long-range attacks, weak up front, good from a distance. I think Hawkeye is a guarantee in the game. Hang on. What do you got here? A couple new super chats. Because I'm bored, Big Wheel needs to be on this roster, please. Hey, I'll keep it in mind. Everyone you're recommending, I'm going to keep in track of, and I'll mention later on as a part of the votes. Adrian Parchman, Rom the Space Knight, Miracle Man, Godzilla, and Transformers. They were part of Marvel Comics for a time. While that is true, of all of those, the only one that has a chance is Miracle Man. Because I think they own the rights right now. Nick Wolf, speaking of fan projects, shout out to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond. A Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite mod with better art style, revamped costumes, gameplay tweaks, and more. Hey, let's take a look. That sounds pretty cool. I like that already. It sounds really good. Olivia Williams, X-23 would be awesome. I hear you there. Gavin Carruth, not gonna lie, Marvel has too many obvious picks, and I want Dr. Spectrum, damn it. Also, need the Fantastic Four as individual members, or else why bother making a 4v4 game? That's also true, which leads me to the next obvious choice, which is going to be, of all the Fantastic Four, I think one of them in particular is more likely than all the rest, and that is simply the Human Torch. Human Torch is extremely obvious, I think. I'm pretty sure he's going to be in the game. I'm willing to bet money on it. But another one that I think is important. Again, these are the obvious choices. We're getting them out of the way first. Another obvious one, I think, it's going to be, given that he appears in every single fighting game for Marvel ever, you got to have Cyclops. Cyclops, he's in every fighting game with Marvel. He's going to be in there. And finally, for the last two obvious ones, again, we're doing this to get the big ones out of the way first. And these are the big name heroes, essentially. I think you're going to have a very hard time convincing me that... 1 second. Get a good image there. Cool, this is going. I have a hard time imagining that our good old friend T'Challa will not be in the game. T'Challa is going to be in the game. You're lying to yourself if you think otherwise. T'Challa will be in the game at some point. And the final obvious one, I think, is going to be, in terms of acrobatic, very agile heroes, you gotta have Black Widow. Black Widow is going to be in the game. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. This is obvious, I think. Maybe have Yelena as an alternate costume. Who knows? But they're in the game. No matter what, they're in the game. So, these are the essentials. These guys. This 16, they're safe. They're going to be there. Now let me tell you some that I think can be a little less obvious. All right, let me take a look at a few of these right here. Big Wheel, fan projects, obvious picks. Because I'm bored. Hawkeye, the most member of the Avengers. Yeah, well, I mean, Arrows would be fun in a fighting game, I think. The Guy, 493. We all know Deadpool is going to be in. That's a possibility. Because I'm bored. Bro keeps giving me Deadpool blue balls. Yeah, right? All right, let's get Deadpool out of the way, too. We know he's going to be in it, too. Let me bring it in real quick. Yeah, so let's just get this one out of the way, too. Deadpool, he's probably there. And honestly, if we're being honest, another obvious one is going to be... Yeah, so another one I think is obvious. Deadpool and Venom. They're going to be in the game. I'm reasonably confident that they'll be in the game. Just seems obvious. But time for a character I think is a little less obvious, I think. I'm reasonably confident that we're going to get... This is the first of the more interesting choices. I think we're going to get Daredevil. I am reasonably confident they'll put Daredevil in the game. Daredevil has become increasingly popular over the last several years. He has never been in a fighting game as far as I can tell. And Arc Systems has said that they want to include characters who have not been in fighting games all that much. I'm reasonably confident that you're going to get a Daredevil at some point or another. So I'm going to put him in the game. I'm seeing a lot of good options here, too. I don't think we're going to get... I'm going to tell you right now, I do not think we're going to get Emma Frost. I don't think we're going to get... what do you call it? It's a few I saw before them. I don't think we can get Captain Marvel. I don't think Carol Danvers will be in the game. I think we will get... Obviously, we're going to get Ms. Marvel, but I don't think we're going to get... I don't think we're going to get... I do not think we're going to get Carol Danvers. Because I'm bored, what would you do with the Venom symbiote? What would I do personally? I don't know. I wouldn't get dressed in the morning, that's for certain, because the outfit would just dress me for me, you know? I'm seeing a few people mention Moon Knight, and I am reasonably confident that Moon Knight will show up. I feel like Moon Knight is one of those characters who would be so much fun to see in a game like this. I think Moon Knight would be great. Now, the problem here is we have a lot of heroes, but not a whole lot of villains. And I think that something that will change that is the first of the really interesting ones, I think. One character I think will be in the game for sure. Not for sure, but I'm hopeful will be in the game. Dr. Octopus. I think Doc Ock would be a lot of fun in the game. I think he's really fun. I think as a concept, he'd be a really cool character to see fight. I think his arms make him really good for zoning and like have a lot of control over the battlefield. I think Doc Ock, pretty safe chance. And of course, people saying it before. Hang on. Things are acting at my end. Don't worry about a thing. I think Magneto, very likely as well. Because Magneto is one of those characters who just always is relevant, always is cool. Great character, beloved, iconic. I think he's a safe bet as well. But another character I think would be really cool. I think we can reasonably... I think we can be a little confident we're going to get someone like... Let me get a less scandalous image of her. 1 second. Why are there so many images of her that are like really scandalous? 1 second. I think Magic is a pretty safe bet as well. Sword Fighter, really cool. Gameplay mechanic-wise, I can see it already. Be a lot of fun. I think it's very likely we're going to get Magic in the game at some point. Nick Wolf, my worst self wants a Chasm alt for Peter. Oh god, that would be... I would hate that, but also go for it. I think that'd be really cool. I also think one character I think might be really cool. A bit of an odd choice. But hear me out on this one. Hear me out. I think we always have to have some wild cards in the game, right? You gotta have a few unexpected characters who you're not seeing coming. I think this character would make for an amazing but unexpected grappler character. Much like Doc Ock, but a little different. There's no way to really avoid it anymore. I think a character who should be in the game is Medusa from the Inhumans. Medusa's whole thing is she has the prehensile hair that like is sentient. It moves on its own. Imagine the zoning with this. How it can zone and grab and do all that. Wouldn't be really a big offensive character, but I think that Medusa would be really cool, I think. Anyway, though that's the next set. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be really fun characters. Let me move these guys down 1 second. 1 sec. All right, and then we make them a little smaller to fit. Cool. So I think these 24 characters, they're interesting. So. Let me take a look at this real quick. Because I'm bored. Have you seen Pastra's video on Ultron? Yes, I have. It's fantastic. Which, speaking of, another character I want to see in the game, it's going to be, well, I guess it's obvious why just based on what I'm saying right now. I think Ultron, what's going on right here? Sorry. Oh, no, I hit the wrong button. Sorry. The another character would be really cool would be Ultron. Ultron would be a lot of fun, I think. Really cool mechanical guy, have a lot of drones. Be kind of neat, I think. Awesomeness. Add the jeweler from the 94 Fantastic Four movie. I mean, that's basically just Moomin, right? I love that weird character. There's a weird esoteric character in that first 94 film. Medusa and Doc Ock would be popular in Japan for obvious reasons. I love that. That'd be ridiculous. I love it. Another character I think might be in the game. I'm surprised not many people are saying. I think another obvious choice is going to be Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is built for a fighting game. He is a physical brawler. It's perfect. There's no one else I think is better for a fighting game than Shang-Chi. Except for maybe Iron Fist, but if I'm choosing between Shang-Chi and Iron Fist, I'm going Shang-Chi. Because I'm bored, add Elon Musk. He was in Iron Man 2. Let's not. I don't know I want that. I don't want Elon Musk in a fighting game. Especially a Marvel fighting game. No, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, another character I think is likely. And then we're going to add the DLC choices, too, I might add. I'm going to get another obvious one that I think is obvious, but we'll see. I think an obvious character, because I do not think that Carol Danvers will be in the game. But by that same metric, a character who has very similar powers to Carol Danvers is Rogue. I think Rogue is very likely to be in the game. I think she's a given. I think she should be. She's pretty. I would expect her. I would expect her to be in the game. Is what I'm getting at. Super strength, flight, absorption powers. There's a lot good there. Sakchua, thank you for super chat. I hope they give some characters unique mechanics. Arxists are no strangers to weird mechanics. Bonus, they can give light to lesser known characters that way. I agree. I think that's why I chose. I think that's why they're going to do a lot of characters that are really unusual and unexpected. And I think one such character that'd be really fun. Actually, before I do another character, I think would be very odd and interesting. A character I don't think has been in a lot of fighting games who would be really fun as a swords, basically a movement-based swords player. Very slick, very fast, hard to hit, evasive. Nightcrawler. People forget Nightcrawler is a master of the three sword style. You know, like one sword in each hand, sword in his tail. It'd be great. He'd be able to bounce around the whole set. It'd be fantastic. I would love that. Absolutely would love to see Nightcrawler in the game. We got 4 more slots though. Here's where the oddballs come in. I got another X-Men for you. One famous for throwing things. Projectile-based fighter. But, said projectiles, you can also fight with a long staff-like weapon as well. You know what I'm talking about? Yep, projectile fighter X-Men. That's right. That's right, of course you all know what I'm talking about. We're talking about Marrow. You all know Marrow, right? The X-Men Marrow? No, what do you think, Gambit? No. No. We're doing Marrow. Marrow, the X-Men whose power is plucking bones that sprout from underneath her flesh as weapons and projectiles. How much fun would it be to have such a bizarre, esoteric character like this? Marrow, who sprouts like projectile bones from their flesh. Yeah, you didn't see that, did you? Marrow. Look, from this point onward, it's all strange characters. The last three are the odd ones. The ones that there's no shot of them ever showing up, but hey, you gotta have a few weirdos in the game. You gotta have a few strange dudes. And Marrow is absolutely a strange character. Another one I think is very likely, or at least somewhat likely in terms of the strange X-Men out there. And I've seen some people in chat mention her a few times. But I think you're likely to get Armor. You want to have a big tanky character who's more defense than offense? Armor is your girl. And physically, lineup-wise, looks much different than the other characters. But I've done enough X-Men related characters. We've got to do something a little different, right? Because I'm bored, does Spawn count? No, Spawn does not count, for better or worse. Now, I do think we need some more traditional fighters as well. Which I think is why a character I think has not appeared at all in any fighting game as far as I know. Nick Wolf, and you'd have more luck adding Mojo World Spiral. Yeah, that's fair too, I suppose. One character I think is pretty likely though, but has never been in a fighting game, is Blade. Blade has never been in a fighting game before, but I think Blade would be a lot of fun. Sword-faced fighter, regenerative power, vampiric elements too, to an extent. Some firearms. Blade would be a lot of fun. Okay. So, I got one last role left. Omero is in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's fair, I suppose. Armor is Japanese. That's fair, too. That's fair, too. Okay. So. I don't think Blade's been in a fighting game, I don't think. Okay. It's raining a little bit down here. I'm not sure you can hear that in the mic. So we got here again for the final 8. We got Ultron, Shang-Chi, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Marrow, Armor, and Blade. But we have one last role left. And I'm going to include DLC next as well. But I think the character who might be the hardest to argue should be in the game. You know, here's the thing about Marvel. The thing about Marvel is this. There's always your really cool, really interesting types of characters. How about Slide as a Spidey villain? That's a possibility too. Awesomeness. Godzilla has his own Marvel comic, so add him. That's a little bit of a stretch, I think. So, sorry. I think there's a lot of really cool characters out there who could be in this game. However, there was one in particular I thought might be perfect in a really unusual kind of way. I don't believe this character has been in many fighting games because they're not typically known for being an active combatant character. But I genuinely think might be really interesting to see play from a gameplay mechanic. Nick Wolf, Say No More, I See You, and Howard the Duck. No, actually. And here's the thing that's pretty strange. This is a very well-known, very popular character. Gavin Carruth, Anthony, I'm sorry, the last spot has to be Shuma. They cannot actually add Shuma Gorath. For legal reasons, I'm pretty sure. Because Shuma Gorath is tied up with the Conan the Barbarian rights. And Marvel lost those, so they can't actually do Shuma Gorath. No, actually, I think, here's one, I don't think many people will expect this one. Kitty Pryde. Kate Pryde, of the X-Men. Whose power is phasing. It would be a very interesting way to see the game if, like, she's able to slide around enemies and be able to slip through them. And, of course, she's also a combatant. She could be a really neat kind of elusive kind of threat, more of an evasive fighter. It would be really interesting to see how they would design her in the game, because she's not typically known as a combatant all that much. I think that would be really cool. I don't know. I think it'd be neat. It'd be cool to design a character like that because it'd be so unusual from a mechanical standpoint. All the other characters, they're brawlers. They have these big, large-than-life weapons. Her power is she phases through people. It would be entirely an evasive mechanics of how to play her. It would force you to really think on how to play it. Also, Lockheed, her pet dragon, could be an offensive, like kind of almost like how in Smash Brothers you got Rosalina with like the Lumas. That'd be like Lockheed. It'd be really interesting to see that kind of style. Now, this does feel like it's lacking in villains. That's true, which is why we get to the DLC. And the DLC is all villains. The DLC would be entirely villains. Also a sword too. So DLC, pure villainy, and the first villain we would have, it's obvious, I think. First DLC villain, it's Thanos. Thanos would be the first villain, obviously, for the DLC. That'd be the big draw for the DLC. Thanos. Big obvious villain, makes sense. Another option. Another one that people have mentioned. Famous from fighting games as well. Another DLC. Sabretooth. Pretty iconic. Big brawler. Kind of like a cross between Wolverine and like a tank. Yeah, easy. Makes sense. But for the next villain, that's where you get your... that's, of course, where you get... Let me bring him up. No, where's a good image? Go on, give me a good photo of this guy. That's an action figure. That's not a. Give me a second here. No, that's bad. Why do you know good images of this guy from the comics? Is it good on this kind of surface? There you go. Loki. You need Loki. He's got to be there somewhere. Loki he is. Here he is. Another option, though. Kind of cool to see play in the game. Popular villain. Don't think he's been in any fighting games. Green Goblin. Yeah, Green Goblin would be a lot of fun, I think. These four pretty easy locks for DLC. We gotta get some weirdos too, as always. You gotta have some weirdos. Let me take a look real quick. Gavin Carrith, Thanos with the Rao influence would go crazy. Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine? That'd be so great. I'd love that. All right, but the first DLC has to be villains. So I think we gotta. I think from there the only logical choice would be. Now we have, I would say Mystique, but we have Rogue who can steal powers. I'm not sure that would really work. And besides, we have a lot of other. The thing is, I think a guy who might be really cool to see in this is actually a little different than you might think. Of course, Omega Red was big in Marvel vs. Capcom, so we can't really use him again. The Sentinels in all the different Marvel vs. Capcom games, probably poor form to put him in DLC. Them in DLC. However, one that might be really cool, especially now in the comics, is Nimrod. Nimrod, one of the major Sentinels from the X-Men lore, especially if you're following the whole Krakoa arc. Nimrod would be a lot of fun to see as a DLC villain, I think. Kraven the Hunter. Ooh, okay, because I'm bored, you might be reading my mind a little bit there, but no such luck yet. Bastion would be a lot of cool. Nimrod would be really cool. I think Nimrod with Bastion as an alternate costume would be a lot of fun. However, one character that would have to be redesigned extensively, but would be a lot of fun to see, and with this one going back to what we've done previously, is The Mandarin. Iron Man's Mandarin. I think it would be a lot of fun. And of course, with the ties to Shang-Chi in the MCU, you can try exploiting that as well. But the Mandarin would be really interesting to see. He has a lot of really cool abilities. I think the Mandarin would be a lot of fun. Oh, thank you so much, Lightspeed. I appreciate it. Okay. So. But I think we need some strange villains, too. We need some oddballs. And I think of all the oddballs I can think of, there's a lot of them. One of the strangest, though, one of the weirdest I can think of, who I cannot lie, I kind of want to see them try to put in the game just for the sake of it, to see how they would even do it, is Mojo. I would love to see them try to fit Mojo in this game somehow. This bizarre freaking X-Men villain is so out there and so weird that I would love to see how they would pull this off. Because he is so inclined with technology. He'd be just like a weird, big target with extremely powerful weapons, but also really easy to hit and have very weak attacks, but be able to manipulate the environment in ways that's interesting. I think it'd be kind of cool. Really keep you on your toes. But finally, I think one character we would need to include that's, I think, kind of straightforward for the final DLC character. I'll be very basic. Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch has got to be in the game somewhere. So, there you go. That would be my choice of DLC. And, yeah. That would be who I put in the game. I think they're all really interesting characters. I think it's a neat lineup. I think it'd be cool. And of course, everyone will have their own lists. I accept that. I just think mine is correct. Zorn can be an alternate Magneto costume. I think they'll get 2 rounds of DLC. I think that's reasonable. I think 2 rounds of DLC is reasonable. And again, this is not a guarantee. Isn't Mojo basically MODOK? Yes. Mojo would basically play as MODOK, except way stranger than MODOK, somehow. The problem is, Marvel has so many characters, you basically got anyone, you basically got your pick of the litter. And of course, as possibly can be Squirrel Girl, because people love Squirrel Girl. There's other options too. Enchantress is an option. I've seen people say Carnage. That's likely. I feel like Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen, even though they do play differently in game, I can realistically see them being different costumes to save on the roster. But this one can be a long time competitive game if they do it correctly. Of course, there is one other character I think they can pull off. One extra character I forgot to mention until just now. There is one extra character I'd love to see. It's a long shot. They'll never include it. But there is one character I would love to see in game, though it'll never happen. Not in a million years. J. Jonah Jameson. If they put J. Jonah Jameson in this game as a playable character, I would love it. It would be amazing. Just fighting as J. Jonah Jameson. Barking people to get photos of Spider-Man. That'd be it. Best character in the game. I think that JJ should also be in Marvel Rivals. I think J. Jonah Jameson should be in every single video game ever. By Chippy Odera, Mojo without his nemesis Jubilee? Yes. Yes, I think so. Peter Parker as his assist. Yeah, right? I would love that. Just barking at the enemy like, Parker! Spider-Man! Give me photos of Spider-Man! if he's on your team, he boosts everyone else's like power essentially. Like he'd be like a waste of a 4th slot, but everyone else get like boosted up. That'd be great. I would love that. Nick Wolf, thank you for super chat. JJJ is the announcer. That'd be great. Honestly, I would love that. Because I'm bored, J. Jonah Jameson did nothing wrong. I mean, you're not wrong, but you're also not correct. I'm kidding. Who knows? But there are a few obvious exceptions here. For example, there's no Doctor Strange. There's no Phoenix. There's a lot of characters missing. No Jubilee. No Sentinels. But I'm trying to avoid too many obvious options, even though I think a lot of these guys are likely going to be in the game. Some definitely won't. For example, if Carnage ended up in here, I wouldn't be shocked. Mysterio and Super Skrull. Well, Super Skrull always ends up in the same games, Adrian Parchman. Super Skrull tends to be like when they can't fit, when they don't want to put the Fantastic Four in, they put Super Skrull. Also, I think it's unlikely when they get Mr. Fantastic in this game, as well as the Thing, because they're already very similar to other characters here. I also know a lot of people want to see Juggernaut in the game. But we got so many other big guys with big, strong bodies. I think it's a little redundant. Same with Big Bertha, even though I love the Great Lakes Avengers and always try to find ways to sneak them into like these stories. I don't know. I also really wanted to put in Lockjaw from the Inhumans, but I think like of all of them, Medusa is the one with the best option. Big Wheel is just too good for the game. He's too powerful. He's too powerful. Ego would be a stage. I think Ego is likely as a stage, and so is Galactus, but not as a playable characters. But yeah, that's who I think might be in Philo Vel. Ooh, another good option. Another good option. Groot's another good option. Gamora is an option. Rockets and everything. If She-Hulk was in the game, it wouldn't shock me either. But again, Stilt Man. Yeah, that's another good one. Molecule Man, I think, is another interesting option too, but that's not likely in my opinion. Of course, not everything is good in the land of video games here, so I'm going to try to move to another topic. In this case, Eric Debunks watched a video by Yellow Flash, among others, talking about Kamala Khan. So he watches Eric watches the same thing we were watching first.
The game. If they're not going to be bad in the game, then it doesn't matter why Marvel had them included.
So
I had to pitch him up a lot. So in general, and in this video, at least the thumbnail to this video, he's talking about Ms. Marvel. And I'm always baffled by the fact that these guys do not understand the character and say a ton of incorrect things about Ms. Marvel from the comics or her.
You know what? I think me watching a reaction to the video might not be as interesting. Let me see if I can find the original. 1 second. Let me react to the original because I feel like that way you get my unfiltered original opinions. Yeah, so Yellow Flash is a guy I haven't talked about a whole lot on this channel. Actually, it's funny is what's funny is with Yellow Flash is that I actually knew him before he became a YouTuber, actually. On the Twitterverse, thanks to Comicscape. Yellow Flash is one of those guys I have no respect for as a person. I think his content is trash. I think what he does is garbage. I think his work is awful. He blocked me actually before even starting YouTube, so apparently he didn't like me all that much before he even got on here. So I digress. Yellow Flash's work I think is very problematic, but I haven't really covered it much on the channel because I don't really think about him too much. But apparently made a video talking about Ms. Marvel and trying to praise Marvel Tokon because it exposes how bad Western artists are. Let's get into it. Let's see what he says. I'm reasonably confident that nothing Yellow Flash has to say is really going to move the needle in terms of what I think. Let's take a look. Crispy Draws. Yellow Flash is a guy on the internet. Had to do my West Side Tyler voice in that one. Actually, it's so funny seeing, because I'm so unplugged from the whole drama scene. It's funny, I talk to a lot of drama tubers, but I don't actually know what their business is. So I've talked to West Side Tyler, I've talked to Cope and Seeth. Apparently they can't stand each other, and I think it's really funny that I'm like completely detached from that whole discussion. I don't know what the beef is, but I think it's like kind of funny seeing that they're again, I'm sure if I was involved it wouldn't be as funny, but I think it's interesting seeing that kind of discussion there. Anyway, back to this.
Today we're going to talk about a game called Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. This is the game right here. It's made by Arc System Works. Now, when I first saw this trailer...
Okay, listen, I know I'm not as big... You've been on here for a while. I think you want to adjust your sound a little bit. Something about it sounds a little tinny. I can't explain what it is. But it might be... I shouldn't talk. My mic stuff peaks probably all the time. I'm still adjusting with this mic anyway, so I'm sure it's peaking as well. But something about his mic sounds really off to me. I don't know.
Trailer at State of Play, because that's where it debuted. I thought it was a Marvel vs. Capcom fighting style game, and it kind of looks like one. You'll see in a second. This might be the first time you're seeing this game. I don't have the sound on, but you know who actually made this game? I guess it's the Dragon Ball Fighters team.
Yeah,
and when I found that out, this makes a lot of sense now. It's like, okay, I see what's going on here. I think it looks great, actually.
Okay, so far no disagreement. I think it looks great too. I think it's a little weird though. It sounds almost as if he's just playing the footage and talking over it, and that's his whole video. I don't know. It just sounds like this wasn't really well thought out. It's like he's like thinking of what to say as he's saying it. Is that what he's doing? I don't like how I feel about that.
It looks like a lot of fun. And there's a character...
Nick Wolf, thanks Super Chat. Yellow Flash, the biggest disappointment since my son. Well, my son is coming up soon. His release date is coming up. Probably get ahead of the October. So far, he's set for he's due October 3rd. I was talking to a friend over this weekend, and she was saying, you should name your son. After it's October 3rd, that's Full Metal Alchemist Day. And I was thinking, I was thinking like maybe Ed or Al, but that didn't work out. Me and my spouse disagreed on that one. And my friend was like, you should name your son Hohenheim. I'm like, Hohenheim after Ed and Al's absent father, and not like, Roy. Roy's right there. No? Armstrong even might be an option. No, Hohenheim. That was the next option. Okay. Needless to say, I did not take my friend's advice on naming my child Hohenheim. Adrian Parchman, Yellow Flash 2. Yes, it was me, Anthony Gramaguglia. I was the one who blocked you. Yeah, basically. Love it. Back to this now.
In this trailer that actually looks like a lot of fun, and it's surprisingly Miss Marvel. A lot of people talking about her right now, and it's because, once again, Japanese developer takes this character or a character that Marvel has and makes them better.
Okay, so first off, Flash, she looks the same as she does in the comics. Like, it's the same costume. All they did was make it anime looking, Like, that's it. No one's arguing that the game doesn't look cool. Looks great. But it's the same general design, just as anime eyes now. That's it. So what's different? Also, but we don't know anything about the game, about the plotting and things like that. It's just anime design. Very skin deep so far, the differences. So Yellow Flash, what is so different? What is so much better about this anime-fied version of Miss Marvel that you couldn't get in live action?
Many such cases of this. Now, this game, not getting a lot of backlash. For the most part, everyone likes it. I like it. I'm kind of excited for this game, actually. It looks like a lot of fun. It's like 4-on-4 fighting. But let me tell you about this roster real quick. So you notice that It's the Ghost Driver character. I think his name is Robbie.
Ghost Driver? Don't you mean Ghost Rider? Yeah, I know this version of Ghost Robbie Reyes, he does like the car and all that, not a motorcycle, but it's Ghost Rider, not Ghost Driver. Anyway.
Robbie Reyes?
Yeah, it's Robbie Reyes.
He's a newer Ghost Rider, and he has a car, which I think is stupid. A Ghost Rider.
Why do you think it's stupid? The Ghost Rider historically has always used a vehicle as his avenue. You could do a horse, it could be a bulldozer, it could be a bike, it could be any number of things. Why is it stupid?
Rider should have a motorcycle, in my...
The lore for Ghost Rider has been established for years. Like, he could just use anything into his own vehicle. Whatever. Okay, so like he can instill his essence into anything. Any type of inanimate object, or even animate object, he can channel his essence into. So it's not really... Also, new is relative. Robbie Reyes has been around for like a decade at this point, so it's not too new.
Opinion. But, whatever. I think his design is cool. Marvel is very hands-on when it comes to rosters in these games. The reason that Miss Marvel is in this and that Robbie Reyes is in this is because they're pushing for that.
No. Arc System has announced that they want to choose characters who are not commonly in fighting games to be in the game, to make this game more distinct as a result. Also, they're thinking mechanics. Marvel is actually more hands-off in this situation. They're allowing the developers to do whatever they want. Otherwise, you would see more brand synergy between the character designs in this game versus the MCU. Historically, when Marvel is more hands-on, the designs are more aligned with their mainstream counterparts. And that's one of the reasons why Marvel's been doing so well with games so recently. They've realized, hey, brand synergy, we might be holding back the potential of these developers. Let's take a step back, let the developers take these ideas in different directions, and really explore the concepts a little more, have more freedom to do what they want. And it's worked out pretty well so far, with Cosmic Invasion, with Marvel Rivals, with Tokon Fighters Souls, and all that. So, again, let's see what you have to say.
We found that out during Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Notoriously shitty game. But they handpicked, basically, or told them who could be in the game.
Yeah, but that was also almost 10 years ago. That was like 7 or 8 years ago. A lot of time has passed since then. Yes, Marvel gets the final say on what happens, but very clearly since Marvel Avengers, Marvel has had less of a controlling hand on what gets chosen in all these games. It's one of the reasons why that Luna Snow even exists. She was created for these games by the developers to appeal more to the local audience in Asia. Nick Wolf, Ghost Driver, best hero after Human Starch. Oh, I love Human Starch. He's my favorite. Human Starch is my favorite superhero. I love when Human Starch showed up and was like, I'm gonna bread all over everything, and turned everyone into loaves of bread. That was pretty great.
And like, I don't think Wolverine was in that game. Like, there was no X-Men in it. Let's take
a look at that. Was Wolverine in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? The roster for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was included. Let me double check to make sure Wolverine was in it or not. No, I don't think Wolverine was in the game, actually. Yeah, so Wolverine was not in the game. But, hey, listen. That game was also famously, a lot of things went wrong. It was not a good game. The recent mod, as mentioned in comics, Marvel vs. Capcom and Beyond, Infinite and Beyond, apparently is much better. That game, let me bring it up right here. Yep, so the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Beyond, we mentioned it before in chat. I think this is going to be really cool. Also, Comet Z, damn, that's a lot of dead space for an edited video. Oh my freaking god, and they gave Kamala Green Lantern powers. The MCU synergy got her. Yeah, right? Well, they didn't give her Green Lantern powers in this. They gave her more of the stretchy powers, like in the comics, which is great. So right here.
Are you ready? Go for full throttle!
See, that already looks much better. New color palettes. Cool. I love that. Oh, Venom looks great. Oh, I love Morgan. Morgan's great.
And others exciting and unique alternate costumes.
That's cool. Ooh, I love that. It's great. I love the Spider-Man costume. Oh, it's great.
Gameplay has been updated. Enjoy characters, unique new tools.
That's great. I love that.
Experience gameplay like never before with thrilling tag team modes. Sounds and incredible music tracks never heard.
He says really cool. I like that. I dig that. Anyway, back to this. That was like a small little detail. So let's hear what Yellow Flash has to say. So, yeah, Marvel's Capcom Infinite game itself not so great. Marvel's Capcom Infinite and Beyond, pretty cool mod. Pretty cool mod from the looks of things. And we have here of Orange Venom. Yeah, well, Orange Venom's in Marvel Rivals, so there you go.
That game came out during the time when they were trying to bury the X-Men and the Fantastic Four because of Fox having the rights to those movies. Okay, well, we'll just stop promoting those characters.
The guy, 493, Morgan and Peter being friends is one of my favorite little bits of characterization from Marvel's Capcom. I adore that. Any chance that Morgan has a role in anything, I'm excited about. The character is fantastic. I love Darkstalkers. I think it's a fantastic franchise that Capcom has just pushed aside too often. They need to bring Darkstalkers back, is what I'm saying. Also, Morgan is great, but the werewolf guy, Talbane. Love Talbane. I almost said Talbot, like from the Wolfman. Anyway, back to this.
Now, the X-Men were able to rebound from that. It remains to be seen if the Fantastic Four will. Though it does look like the ticket sales for that movie did pretty good the other day.
Is Yellow Flash aware of Marvel Rivals? He has to know about Marvel Rivals, right? Like he has to know that the X-Men and Fantastic Four, they're in video games now. We put them in these things. Like, he's got to know. He has to know. He has to know.
Whether or not that will continue on, we'll see. I have mixed thoughts on that. I did a video on that yesterday. But I want you to see Ms. Marvel. Now, the comics have always failed. They've never sold well.
The comics never sold well, huh? For Ms. Marvel, right? The Ms. Marvel comics? Let's take a look at that. Oh, that's the AI mode. We don't want that. Ms. Marvel sales. Let's take a look before. Oh, here we go. From 2018. Bleeding Cool News. Ms. Marvel has sold 500,000 trade paperbacks. That's not the individual issues, but the trade paperbacks. It's pretty good. That's as of 2018. So that's couple years after her release. For Bleeding Cool, their website sucks, and it always makes my computer crash because it's too many ads, but I digress. So yeah, Bleeding Cool News. Ms. Marvel's has sold 500,000 trade paperbacks. Pretty decent for book sales. And that's a fairly new character at the time. It was only a few years into her run. Since then, probably sold more. So yeah, decently sold well, I'd say.
Comic books for Ms. Marvel. They constantly have to reboot it to get...
Well, Yellow Flash, you should know this by now. Marvel reboots all of their comics every few years because issue number 1 sells better. So if you just artificially put number 1, it sells better. That's just a fact of life. It's one of the reasons why the Venom miniseries lasted for so long, as just refreshing themselves over and over again. So unless it's like a Spider-Man, they're gonna reboot it every couple of issues, every couple dozen issues. So that's how it is. Usually when they change creative teams, they'll cancel the book and then relaunch it shortly after with the same character but different creative crew. So they kind of have like the end of an arc, so to speak. But that doesn't mean the character's not popular. It just means that they close the run. So what do you have to say here?
Get anybody to buy it because for some reason comic book people will always fall for that new number 1 scam.
So yeah, that it's going to be why they do it. They do it to get people to buy the first issue because they, issue number 1, they got to buy it, all that good stuff. So you know that. So why are you lying and saying it they do that because it doesn't sell well. They do it to keep sales up. You know, that's what it comes down to. Doesn't mean it doesn't sell well. It means they just want to make more money, milk it any way possible. You know.
And if you don't know what I mean, they basically take a book and relaunch it with the number one, and everybody thinks that new number one is going to be worth money.
No one really thinks it's going to be worth money. They just want to read a jumping on story, you know, ultimately speaking. Plus, he's number one, you jump on it, you know?
Joke. The industry has been doing that for a long time, to be fair. That's not a new thing.
So, Yellow, if you know that, then why say it's because of sales? You know right there. Well, let me rephrase that. Because that's a fair point. If you know for a fact it's to get more money, why would they do that with a comic that's not selling well at all? If no one's buying it, they wouldn't try to push more money out of it. They would just cancel it and move on. They only do that if they think there's more money to be made, if there's potential there, you know? So, by your own logic, it's self-defeating. But I digress.
But Miss Marvel in the comics has never really been that popular. She's like a Luffy from One Piece ripoff in her power set, but she's nowhere near as interesting as Luffy.
No one likes her. She's like Luffy. Bizarre, yeah, because she has stretchy powers. You could just say she's like Mr. Fantastic. That's the faster connection you would make in comics. But I digress.
But it's funny, you give Japanese people, I think it's a Japanese team that's doing Tokon, and this, they all speak Japanese in this trailer. I'm sure it'll be dubbed when it comes out, but it's just funny to see such a Japanese take on this. But Miss Marvel looks great in this game, and people are overwhelmingly talking about that on social media.
It's because she's an anime character. She's a cute anime girl. Yeah, of course people are going to love it. People like cute anime girls. What's your point? Of course she looks good. This is a very smart take. People like the anime girl. Who'd have thought?
Media, and some people are getting pissed when you point it out. I'm going to show you some of the cope. This isn't just a video game thing. I'm going to probably get some people mad at me for saying this in the comments, but the MCU Miss Marvel is likable as well. I'm not a big fan of the character, but I like that actress that plays her. She's very likable, and she comes off as a fan of comics and superheroes. They actually have made that character a little bit better in the movies with her powers by not having her stretch like a Mr. Fantastic Luffy ripoff. She has like a light-based power.
That's probably the first person I've heard who's liked the light-based power more than her stretchy powers. That's interesting. I'm glad he didn't just start attacking Mon Vellani, though. Mon Vellani, by the way, those who don't know, she has written some comics for Marvel. So she's actually working now, creating stories for Kamala Khan in the comics. She's a lot of fun. I think she's really cool.
Or something like that. But this is the comic book version of the character right here. And she actually looks really good in this. I'm not the only one that shares that opinion. I'm going to show you some stuff, but, once again, very well received. Marvel Tokon, 109,000 likes to 1,000.
Now, these statistics are not very reliable in general. I've tested it before. The plugins you have on your browser will often not show an accurate communication of how many likes a video has. It's usually the ratio of likes to views that determines what the dislikes are in these things based on estimates. So yeah, this is not very accurate metric to reference. It's probably much less actually dislikes, I would say. Probably under 1,000. Nick Wolf, wait a sec. Has Yellow Flash been replaced by a pod person? It's possible. It's possible. The pod person probably forgot how to edit videos to get rid of dead air, but I digress.
1,000 dislikes, and overwhelmingly positive here in the comments. This game looks great. I'm really interested. I hope, because it's 4-on-4, I hope it has a big roster, because you're going to see the same characters all the time. I'm not sure how that's going to work. We'll see. It sounds like a chaotic mess. Which,
have you ever played any Arc Sys games, dude? Anyway,
Dragon Ball Fighters was a chaotic mess, but that game was a lot of fun.
You thought
So look at this. This is two different takes here. So this is the Square Enix Marvel game, the Marvel Avengers. Trash game. Miss Marvel, shit in this game. But look at her here. Like, look at the difference.
it's almost like two games with different art styles look different. I know, shocking. I couldn't believe it either. Yeah, you're not going to get anyone like arguing with you that the Avengers game was terrible. That was pretty bad. The game's not good. But it wasn't not good because of the art style. Okay, let me phrase that. The art style also was bad. Everyone looked very flat. It looked very unremarkable. They never were able to get the hyper exaggerated element of it quite right. One issue I have with the Marvel Avengers game, all the characters look kind of like, again, like people said before, like stunt doubles almost, right? So you're not going to see me defend that game at all. The problem is you're saying that a game made by a studio with a little more freedom, with a lot more skill in a genre, that wasn't being pumped for a AAA release, is able to do something more creative with the game. Yeah, undeniably so. Like right here, they tried to avoid having all those more flashy elements because a lot of Western games, they went for the more realistic, muted tones. And I hate that. I really do. I think it looks much better when characters do have stronger color schemes, better lighting. Like, you look right here. Also keep in mind, this is a gameplay. This looks like gameplay footage. This is the introductory fight, like the way they enter a fight scene. Their big flashy animation. You're not going to get the same level of detail you get in those introductory cutscenes as you are in just ordinary gameplay stills. It's just not going to happen. They're able to get the dynamic of the shot right. They're able to get the framing right. The way the fingers are opened up and extended, you're not going to really get that in. You're not going to see that too often from the side while fighting. It's going to be more fluid. So it's kind of weird. Also keep in mind that with this game, the character is lit in a certain way. Because the lighting is created in real time, depending on where the character is positioned, the lighting can look either really good or it can look very unflattering. Whereas this, it's pre-rendered. The lighting will look perfect because the artists chose the best angle for it to go at. Because the game is a side-scroller. It's not a 3D game with lighting fixtures going all over the place. It's very much like your old-school side-scrolling fighter. Everything's refined. Everything looks great because they put their best angle towards the player. That's how it is. Every time. A fixed camera really helps with looking at things, whereas Marvel Avengers for the AAA game, not so much. Also, once again, Marvel Avengers kept having all the redesigns and reworks and all that. They kept having going back to square one, and the game that came out was somewhat unfinished. Arc Systems, though, knows exactly what they're working on. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not having to relaunch the whole game from square one every few seconds to appeal to market demands, to make it a live service game, to change the gameplay mechanics and sets and all that. They're not withholding anything to sell you it later. Outside of DLC, probably for new fighters. It's the game they want to put out as they want to put it out. You know? And again, by not looking realistic, you can use crazier, more fun colors. That's simple. This isn't rocket science, it's basic logic of game design. I'm not even a game designer, but I can tell you that just from observation. Anyway.
Between the American-focused version and the Japanese version.
So, buddy, what if I told you that both games are Japanese? Because Marvel's Avengers was made by Square Enix. They're both Japanese.
She's so much better. Like, if she looked like this all the time, and I am a very big critic of the power set that she has, because it's like, what woman would want these powers? Giant hands. But somehow they still manage to make her look like a fun character. She looks like she got ripped out of My Hero Academia, doesn't she? That's what I see.
It's because it's... Do you think she looks like she was ripped off from My Hero Academia because she's Japanese designed? Like, it's manga-inspired design here. They're both Japanese, though, buddy. They're both Japanese games. Both made by Japanese companies. I don't get what his point is. Like, you think the character looks better as a cartoon character. Okay, that's fine. So what? You know, like, yeah, the good game looks better than a bad game. Is this really news? Is this really like something worth talking about? Oh, Crystal Dynamics, which is Canadian, but Crystal Dynamics is owned by Square Enix, so it was still a Japanese game technically in that sense. But Crystal Dynamics is a Canadian company. That is fair. But Crystal Dynamics was owned by Square Enix. That's my point. Yeah, Montreal. It's Montreal, but like they're overseen by Square Enix, basically.
But you see posts like this, which are true. Miss Marvel was always such a nothing character to me. Arc does one trailer, and she looks like the coolest character in the game. They just know how to make shit cool. And there's so much cope on this. So much cope. You got people mad about it. Respect Miss Marvel. They actually make her look cute. Too bad her stories tend to just boil down to white man bad. And that's true.
I love how he chooses the one comment that has no likes and several responses to it as like, yeah, that's the right one. That guy was correct. Meanwhile, there's like 3 comments, so people got pissed at him probably.
That's true. Here's some of the stuff. So this is from...
I love how he says like all the comments are so much on my side. Looks at 2 of them and 1 of them got ratioed. Yep, that's all I'm going to look at right now. By Chiappi Odera, Kamala always looked good. Prove me wrong. I'm not going to prove you wrong. I think Kamala Khan's an interesting character and has been drawn really well at times and drawn not so well really times. That's fine.
John's lawyer. Just say you've never read a single comic of hers up till now. It's okay, man. Miss Marvel's been cool for years. So... Here she is. Look at this panel this guy chose to say that she's cool. It's her talking to Miles Morales and just knowing everything. Vivi rattles off statistics and data points. Amadeus wants to solve it like a math problem. Riri is cynical about it all.
Why is he reading it like a breathy voice when she's clearly counting off of her fingers? She's rattling ideas off the top of her head.
But won't stop tinkering. Amica just wants everyone to feel better, but you and me, we're the same. A lot of people suffering and dying while you have the power to make things better drives you crazy. Exactly. But we can. We can't save everybody. That sounds like something Peter Parker would say.
Funny that's the case, right? The characters who are street level, who live in the streets, who live in the city, who are down to earth, have down to earth feelings. Yeah. What's your point? What's the point, dude?
Oh, wait. It's Miles Morales. What is so cool?
Miles Morales said just one word. Miles Morales didn't say any of that. Kamala said all that, except for exactly. You know, that's all.
Cool about this. It's not her, like, smashing something or, like, doing something cool. It's her giving Miles Morales a speech on why they're special because they don't like suffering and dying, which... I mean, you're superheroes. Why would you like that?
Wow, he totally missed the point of this. Is this the guy people go to like for feedback? Really? This guy? People like going to this guy for information on comic book stuff? You can't even read like a character beat between 2 characters to go like, yeah, no, they're just trying to be having a heart-to-heart kind of moment. You know, it's one of those bits where it's like they're driven by the drive to protect people. By love, by affection, but also realizing that they can't do enough. They can never save everyone. It's that kind of surrender to hopelessness, but also the drive to always do more. It's a very human character beat for both characters. It's one of the reasons why Kamala Khan and Miles Morales are more likable in general than, say, Riri or Vivi or Viv or Amadeus Cho. You know, it's like they're down-to-earth humans. It makes them interesting and compelling. It's another reason why the X-Men Trish doesn't work well for Kamala, but I digress. Nitro Java, as an anime enjoyer, I can tell you Ms. Marvel doesn't look like she's from My Hero. The My Hero mangaka's art style differs from other anime/manga. Yeah, that's also true. Uraraka looks vastly different from Kamala Khan in this game. Adrian Parchment, Ms. Marvel is a nothing character. Then why is she in a fighting game? What an oxymoronic reasoning. And look, here's the thing. Here's what it comes down to. If you don't like Kamala Khan, that's fine. You're allowed your opinion. I know people are going to get angry at everyone for whatever, but I think if you don't like the character, that's your prerogative and that's fine. I'm not going to get angry at you for thinking the character doesn't appeal to you. Different people are drawn different characters. That's the beauty of comics. There's a character out there for everyone. If you don't like Kamala Khan, that's cool. But the humanity of Kamala Khan does draw a lot of people to her, you know? Plus, she's from New Jersey. That's a plus in my book. Because New Jersey people got to stick out for each other. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Don't the other members on the team have that same mindset? They're superheroes.
No, that's the point of the scene. That's the point. That they don't have a sense of... And hang on. What do you think the point of the scene was again? Let's think into this.
Smashing something or like doing something cool. It's her giving a Miles Morales a speech on why they're special because they don't like suffering and dying, which, I mean, you're superheroes. Why would you like that?
Hang on, let me read this again here. You know, the thought of people suffering and dying while you have the power to make things better drives you crazy, but we can't save everyone. That's not really you kind of missed the point there. It's not that they hate suffering and dying. It's that they know that despite all the suffering and dying in the world, they know they have the power to stop some of it. But the fact they can't stop all of it is what hurts them. It's a little different, but that difference is substantial in terms of what the message of this is. I don't know how you can miss that, though. It's the point of all this. Also, the other characters are different because they're looking at it like a math problem. So if there's 20 people and you save 18, you saved 18. Yeah, there's 2 you couldn't save, but that's not a problem. Whereas in this scene, Kamala and Miles are saying, you save 18 people, that means 2 are dead, and you couldn't save those 2. No matter what good you did, the lingering failure to save someone is what sticks with you. This isn't complicated. This is knowing what they're freaking saying. So I'm a little confused why this guy is saying like he thinks he understands this scene when he clearly doesn't. Like, it just seems like I don't want to say he's not good at what he does or whatever. I'm sure he's just fine to his audience, but that seems like a big misstep there, to miss that key distinction there. It's not a scene about not liking suffering. It's about recognizing their own shortcomings and their own emotional failures and their own feeling of failure. Nick Wolf, thanks for Super Chat. Dude has no Riz or Maidens. How is he still on YouTube? Who knows?
Don't the other members on the team have that same mindset? They're superheroes. This is from the Champions run. She's never been cool in the comics. And it's a really good example of how talentless a lot of these Marvel writers especially are. Now,
here's the problem, dude. For one, there's 2 problems with this tangent of yours. One, you missed the point of the scene. So you saying, the scene's writing's bad. Maybe it's a you problem if you don't get the basic writing of a comic book aimed for teenagers. If that's too sophisticated for you, maybe don't read My Hero Academia either. That might be over your head as well. But 2, and here's the big issue here with this whole discussion. You're comparing the writing of the comics to the art style of a video game. The writing of comics to art. Your only interest in Kamala Khan is superficial in Tokon. You don't know what the writing is. You don't know what the story is. You just know, the art style looks cute. And that's it. It's very superficial interest, I think.
They're not all bad. So there's actually some really good Marvel comics now Same with DC Comics. There's some great Image comics, great indie comics. I talked about this the other day in my Black Panther video, I think. It wasn't that long ago, a couple days ago. The problem is when they do these characters, they always put some hack on it, and the only reason they're writing the character is because they share some kind of outward trait. So, you know, if it's Miss Marvel, they always have to get a Muslim to write her.
Let's take a look at that. Who wrote the Champions? '16 run of Champions. That was written by Mark Waid. Mark Waid. Mark Waid is apparently Mark Waid is a Muslim woman. Yes, famous Islamic woman, Mark Waid. Oh, my dude. Let's see who else wrote Champions. Hang on, let's look at the Champions writers. 1 second. Champions, Marvel. Who wrote? Yep, Mark Waid. Champions #1. Let's get Champions #1. Let me double check that. It might not be. Yep, Mark Waid. Mark Waid wrote this comic. Let's take a look what else we got here. Champions. Oh, that ran for a little bit actually. The 2016 run of Champions. 2019, until 2019. That's pretty cool. So a 3-year run. That's pretty good. For comics, it's really good. They always switch them out all the time. Issue 27. Jim Zub, who was also not an Islamic woman. Let's go issue 15 here. Still Waid. Mark Waid did a lot of these, actually. Cool. Waid, and then Zub. Yep, so Yellow Flash doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's take a look at another. Actually, let me bring up my screen right now so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So I can actually show you what I'm doing in real time. So I'm looking at the Marvel page right here. So you got right here Champions number 1. That was team of Mark Waid and Humberto Ramos. Ramos did the cover art as well. That's very straightforward right there. And Waid worked on it until. Oh, actually, we had some substitute writers here. Champions was annual. That's Jeremy Whitley. Again, not an Islamic woman. And Waid was on its book until issue 18. Where it switched over to Jim Zub, who is also not Islamic, and also keep in mind, Kamala Khan still in the team. So Kamala Khan, 3 men really, if you want to count the other one. Let's look at the characters right here. You got Ironheart. Character list. Kamala Khan should be. Actually, I'm just going to type it real quick. Here we go, Kamala Khan. So Kamala Khan. Nice. I'm following you right there. Videos. No, give me the comics. Give me the issue she's in. No, comics. Comics profile. There we go. Bio. Shapeshifting. Where's the... Oh, central reading. Here we go. Central reading. So, obviously, Ms. Marvel #1. Let's take a look right there. That's written by G. Willow Wilson. So, again, G. Willow Wilson wrote a lot of Kamala Khan. Ms. Marvel Generations, that's written by, again, G. Willow Wilson. So really, G. Willow Wilson and Mark Waid did a lot of the heavy lifting for Kamala Khan early on. Here we go. Ms. Marvel, starting from issue 38, what's Eve Ewing, David Grayson, Ian Herring, Jim Zub, Saladin Ahmed. Again, so there's a couple Islamic writers, sure, but not all of them. Magnificent Ms. Marvel. That's Saladin Ahmed. So right there, you had a lot of Islamic writers, sure, but you had a lot of other people too. Again, G. Willow Wilson is the most prominent, I think, along with Saladin Ahmed, but that's mainly just 2 writers who did most of her run. It should be easy for you to remember that if you're talking like an authority on Kamala Khan. But again, Mark Waid is also the 3rd biggest writer for Kamala Khan. And Aman Vellani is kind of coming in at the tail end of that now. So Does she have a book out now as of NYX? I think she had a few minis that she had. But again, this is pretty major. These are some pretty big omissions for someone who's claiming to be an authority on comics to not know. And yeah, I know he's doing it off the cuff. So was I. You know, I double checked right now to make sure. I knew G. Willow Wilson was a big name on it too. I didn't know how many comics she wrote. So I checked. I looked it up. And the thing is, I did it live. I did it live in front of you right now. That's how I do my research. Yellow Flash pre-recorded this. This is not live. He had filmed this and chose not to double check his sources. So, what does that tell you? I don't know. Nick Wolf, at times I always envy the abilities of people like Yellow Flash to say the most absolutely wrong-headed statements with the utmost confidence. Yeah, and again, he's not totally wrong, but he's also incorrect. Because the example, here's the thing, if he was talking about the Ms. Marvel solo title, he would have had an argument. But he's talking about the Champions. Mark Waid wrote this, most likely. So, he's saying Islamic women write Kamala Khan in one of the most prominent examples where a white man who's not Islamic wrote Kamala Khan. See, that's the problem. If you don't do your homework, you make mistakes like this. And hey, you know what? Happens, man. Happens, you know. What are you going to do?
If it's Miles Morales now, like Brian Michael Bendis invented this character, by the way.
Hang on. What? Brian Michael Bendis? Okay. Let me take a look at that. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's not correct. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. Kamala Khan was created by editors Sana Amanat and Stephen Wacker, as well as writer G. Willow Wilson. Brian Michael Bendis did not make Kamala Khan. Brian Michael Bendis made Miles Morales, Riri Williams, but not Kamala Khan. You are incorrect there, sir, with a blatant lie.
After he left, a white man can never write that character again. It's all based on your identity.
Double check this
by the way,
quick.
Get a Muslim to write her. If it's Miles Morales.
Oh, I missed it. You're right. I missed it. You're right. Brian Michael Bendis did make Miles Morales. That's fair.
Like Brian Michael Bendis invented this character, by the way. After he left, a white man can never write that character again.
Should I do it? Check that out. Let's see. I want to double check this. We're gonna find out. Marvel.com. Let's just do a quick look. Let's do quick. How fast before we find a white guy who wrote Miles Morales? Spectacular Spider-Man. Let's take a look right there. Greg Weisman. Oh, that took 5 seconds. So this past month, Greg Weisman wrote him. You know Greg Weisman, of course, right? Creator of Gargoyles. What does he look like? Does he look, yeah, famous black man, Greg Weisman. Famous black man, Greg Weisman. Oh, you're batting low today, Yellow Flash, I'm sorry to say. Sakchua, thank you for Super Chat. This idea that Japanese media is just better discounts the work Japanese artists put into their works. You aren't Japanese. Your view is based on a few stories they released in English. Yeah, exactly. They very and these people have very limited scope of what counts as Japanese art too. Don't forget, Arc Systems, not Guilty Gear they're talking about only Dragon Ball Fighter Z. And he dismisses the game right off the bat by saying, oh, it's a chaotic, sloppy mess. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a well-organized, well-oiled game. You're just bad at it, you know? It's not the game's fault. You can't follow what's happening. It's your fault.
It's all based on your identity.
Again, literally, Greg Weisman actively writing Miles Morales in a book about Miles Morales right now. Your own thesis is wrong if you go to your comic shop and look it up.
If you want to write these characters. And it's
Nick Wolf. Oh, the misery. Everyone wants to blame identity. Yeah, there we go.
It's almost like mandated from Marvel that these characters now, their stories have to revolve around identity. It's like, can't they just tell a good story? First off, if you really want to make these characters shine, you should put the best writer you have on them.
Yes, because Greg Weisman has never written anything that people like ever. By the way, who wrote the most popular Spider-Man cartoon? Who was that? Spectacular Spider-Man. Who was the writer of that? Who was the showrunner, creator? What was the name of that guy? I can't think of any. Oh, that's right, Greg Weisman. So, there you go.
But they never take off. Her costume is ugly. Like, just everything about these characters in the comics are awful. But, you give it to some talented people.
Also, Mark Waid. What did Mark Waid ever write? What? That Mark Waid guy, what did he ever do? Probably nothing important, I'm sure. Yeah, don't look up Mark Waid's entire body of work. I'm sure there's nothing but misses on there. Don't put their best writers on there. Give me a fucking break, you loser.
And they managed to make it work quite well. And I'm not the only one that's pointing that out. It's all over social media of people talking about how much better she looks in the game compared to the comics. And then you have these people that probably don't even read the comics. They just grab, like, this looks like he just grabbed a panel from the Google search and put it on. Look how cool she is. Nothing about this panel makes me want to read this comic. I've seen this dialogue thousands of times throughout my history of reading comic books.
And yet you couldn't figure out what it meant.
About how they're driven to help because they don't want people to suffer.
Dude, that's not even what they're fucking saying. Can you read? Are you capable of reading and comprehending what you actually put in your head? The dialogue is not about being driven to help people. It's about talking about how much pain they're in when they don't help everyone. That's fundamentally different because you're talking about, it's the motivation, it's the rousing, here's why we do the thing and go out there. No, it's about reflecting on the vulnerabilities of failure. That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about success or working to solve a problem. They're talking about dealing with the feelings of guilt you feel from failing to solve a problem entirely or as well as you want to solve it. That's a fundamentally more complicated discussion than just saying, oh, hey, I want to do what's right for the little guy and save the day. It's a very different kind of vibe there, dude. And if you're a grown-ass man who has written comics, this guy has written comics, and you can't tell me the difference between someone talking about like, oh, I'm going to save the day and be a big old hero and gonna be the my ninja way and all that, whatever. And you go like, oh, hey, actually, I feel kind of awful because I failed to stop everyone from getting hurt. And I gotta walk around lingering with this feeling of guilt while my other teammates were more analytical. Like, well, we did the best we could. We saved 9 out of 10. That's good enough for today. Yeah, we missed the one, but yeah, you know what? We got the most of what we could do. And they're like, no, we can't accept that. We just can't handle that. That's what they're talking about. These are fundamental differences, dude, with what is actually happening. And the fact that you can't comprehend that big difference is pretty big of an omission there, buddy. But I digress.
What is unique about this? But yeah, this Dado Doyo guy, he got a lot of shit for this post for just pointing out the obvious.
So wait, hang on. Did he get a lot of shit for the post, or was it all of Twitter was on his side? Because you're contradicting yourself there. Also, you don't know who Dodo Doya is? I know who Dodo Doya is. He's a big fighting game account on here. Does a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. How do you not know about this? He's a fighting game enthusiast. And an anime enthusiast. Like, that's his thing. Like, dude, do a little basic research on who this guy is. I recognize that name immediately because I was hyped over Dragon Ball Sparking Zero when it came out. Guy's a history with fighting games. That's why he likes this. It's his cup of tea, And here's the thing. This is why sometimes different people are drawn to different things, and why I don't really care if some individuals didn't like the character before and likes him now. Guy has a much bigger account than you does and has a more active audience than you do. Hell, has a much bigger audience than I do. Like, you can't talk about things like you're an expert if you don't do some basic research first.
Yes. That he noticed that they made the character better in a Japanese game. Which, you know, is just pointing out the truth. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Before you go, I've got a comic book out my...
Yeah, I'm not gonna glaze his comic. Yeah, Yellow Flash is dumb. He's always been dumb, but that really reminds me, he hasn't really grown much as anyone. He used to like get into fights with me on Twitter, then block me when I kept out arguing him. He's not very good at this, but he has a big following because he says the things people want to hear at the times they want to hear it at. But like a lot of grifters, his grift is running low. Fairly recently, his comic has encountered some issues because it came out, I believe, or they've read something about it, and it wasn't very good. Maybe they'll talk about that.
Legacy in the comics or anything like that. They get all of it wrong. So let's watch the video. And
yeah, it's accurate. Is there a conclusion? I want to see what his concluding thoughts are. Right here. I want to see what his thoughts are right here.
To an underage character. I'm not sure underage character.
Right.
That she was unpopular in the comics. I'm not sure what incel Discord server this started on, but it's just not reality. You keep saying it like you can believe it if you want, but it's not reality. It's not true.
Again, don't forget 2018, 500,000 trade paperback sales. So sells pretty well.
One trailer, and she looks like the coolest character in the game. They just know how to make shit cool. And there's so much cope on this. So much cope. You got people mad about it. Respect Miss Marvel. They actually make her look cute. Too bad her stories tend to just boil down to white man bad, and that's true.
That's true. So what comic book run did you read of Ms. Marvel where that was the story?
Yeah.
Which one, Flash? Which comic book run specifically did you read where that it broke down to Ms. Marvel ugly, white man bad? Like what?
Yeah, her initial whole storyline isn't even about white men at all. It's about her trying to figure out her own sense of identity, her own sense of pride. And in fact, she actually disguises herself to look like Carol Danvers for a little while, because her abilities allow her to do that. But she gradually comes to realize her own value and worth as an individual. Plus, a lot of her stories up until the Champions is all about her and when she looks up to Carol Danvers, who is white. And Tony Stark. She's obsessed with Wolverine. She writes fan fiction about Wolverine, who is a white man. So, no, Flash, you're not right.
Which one was that? Because I don't remember that being the main storyline in any comic or in any of the live action stuff that we've seen from her. I'm not sure where that came from. Which, by the way, again, stop commenting on the attractiveness of a child, of a teenage character. I don't know why I have to say this, but it needs to be said. Grown men, listen to me. Stop objectifying underage characters. It's creepy as fuck.
Very true. And that's another element of this, too. I've just kind of given up on ever bringing it up in conversation sometimes because people are creeps, all right? Some of you all are really weird when it comes to talking about teenage characters. That being said, though, Kamala Khan is currently in college, so she's no longer an underage character. So if you want to be a creep, do it after the X-Men relaunch. That's okay then. I think she's in college now, so you're okay now. But it's really creepy how some of y'all talk about teenage characters. It's really freaking weird. Really weird. You guys need to like fucking get some perspective on this shit. Oh yeah, Bruno's white. Oh yeah, I forgot about Bruno. Yeah, I didn't talk about Bruno. That's fair. It's an old dated joke. I'm very sorry. Yeah, a lot of white characters in Kamala Khan's circle.
And it's inappropriate. In any capacity. Do not objectify them. It's weird. Like, let's put this in perspective. If there was a teenage boy in a comic book, and I, as a gay adult man, started talking about how cute or how hot or how attractive that character is, people would lose their fucking minds, and rightfully so.
Yeah, in a heartbeat.
Rightfully so. I should totally be held accountable for that if that was what I was saying in videos. But these guys, and sometimes the women that associate with these guys, are very inappropriate when they talk about young characters. And they act like it's just okay, that it's normal to comment on the attractiveness or the cuteness or any of that when it comes to an underage character. I'm not sure why that's okay or why you guys...
Wait a second. Dickie Meyer, your boy Zach from Comicsgate, Richard Meyer, dismissed Bruno being white simply because he's also Italian. Naruto, what the... Hate that. Hate that discussion. Am I not white? Am I not white because I'm Italian? I guess I didn't know that. I gotta tell all my non-white friends that I'm apparently not white now. Oh my god. So freaking weird. Also, Squirrel Girl's aged up for that reason too. A lot of teenage characters aged up because people kept being weird about it, especially in comics.
Allow this to happen without any pushback, but it's really fucking weird.
That's true. Here's some of the stuff. So this is from John's lawyer. Just say you've never read a single comic of hers up till now. It's okay, man. Miss Marvel's been cool for years. So here she is. Look at this panel this guy chose to say that she's cool. It's her talking to Miles Morales and just knowing everything.
So Ms. Marvel here sort of supporting Miles by talking about the team that they're working with. Somehow to Yellow Flash means that she knows everything. And then there's something wrong with that.
Vivi rattles off statistics and data points. Amadeus wants to solve it like a math problem. Riri is cynical about it all, but won't stop tinkering.
Also, I find it strange how he reads the comic with that weird breathy voice. It's really off-putting. Does anyone else find that kind of off-putting? Like, I don't know. I find that really weird. I don't like it.
Just wants everyone to feel better, but you and me, we're the same. A lot of people suffering and dying while you have the power to make things better drives you crazy. Exactly. But we can't. We can't save everybody. That sounds like something Peter Parker would say. Oh, wait. It's Miles Morales.
So why would it be okay for Peter Parker to say that, but not her? Do you understand, Flash, how dumb that sounds?
Yep.
This sounds like something Peter Parker would say, which you would...
Adrian Parchman, thank you for Super Chat. Adding to the Doc African-American tax. Yeah, there we go. Olivia Williams used to be Italian like the Irish were not considered white. That's very fair. That's very fair. The commenter, the problem with these losers is that they don't have good arguments against the character. They will appeal to their personal feelings of attraction to justify their naysaying. Yeah, that's pretty weird too. Not gonna lie, and I hate it. But you're also correct. Yeah, that is his girl voice. His breathy voice like that is what he thinks all girls sound like. Especially energetic fangirls from New Jersey who are loud like Kamala Khan. Again, compare that. And this is post Iman Vellani's performance as Kamala Khan. So at least try imitating that. Kamala Khan doesn't sound breathy like that. I don't know. I hate this. All about it. I hate everything
Wouldn't
about
have
it.
a problem with. But because Kamala says it, you have an issue with it. I mean, are you're just done pretending that it's not sexist? That it has nothing to do with women?
Like, what is so cool about this? It's not her like smashing something or like doing something cool.
It's her. It's cool because she's supporting a team member. She is being a more mature character that is looking at everybody on their team and supporting Miles in whatever he's going through.
Nick Wolf, I don't think I like Ant SMR. Okay, we're going to be doing some more Ant SMR today. Today we're going to be breathing. You gotta get your breaths in. Unclench your jaws, by the way. I want you all to... Okay, I can't even pretend to do that. I'm sorry. ASMR folks, you all made a stronger stuff than I am. I can't do that for more than 5 seconds. We're losing it. I'm too impatient with my own words to do that. Okay, let's keep going.
That's actually fucking cool to support your friends, right? To be there for them, to put things in perspective for them. Not everything cool.
Oh, I have to finger tap the mic. Is that what you're looking for? I really can't do that. I'm so sorry. Isn't that your Rorschach voice? No, it's not really. Ant ASMR is just him mumbling about Ava. So in episode 23 of Evangelion, the scene where Rey has the alien as the fuck, I can't even pretend that. I can't even pretend that. I love it. I love it. Anyway, yeah, no, friends can't support friends anymore. It's either it's uncool. So officially, you heard it here, folks. Helping your friends out, it's lame. Actually, it's very lame and underwhelming, and you're uncool if you do it. I think I'm pretty much done here. I think I got all I need. This is pretty obvious. I think the problem is, Yellow Flash doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, and it's pretty clear that he doesn't. So there you go. So yeah, this game can be a lot of fun. So I think we have to discuss also. I think I'm going to discuss one more topic, and I'm going to close up for the next. I want to get some editing done on Friday's video. I think a big thing is, what can DC do that Marvel is doing right now? And that is simply this. Oh, the panel was written by Jim Zub. Okay, that's fine. After there was a shooting at Miles' school. Oh yeah, that context is kind of important, actually. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So it's not Mark Waid, but that's a big deal. That's a very big distinction. Okay. Just make games that are cool, dude. DC's gonna make games that are cool. Marvel tried too hard for the longest time to control and hold down different game developers from doing what they want to do. Crystal Dynamics, again, under Square Enix, did not succeed because they were too busy trying to align with what fucking Marvel wanted. DC is too... Well, let me rephrase that, not DC. Warner Brothers is too restrictive as to what games they allow out there because they want to appeal to the biggest demographic every single time. Go cheaper, spend less money on it, and make games that are more distinctly genre-focused on a single gameplay mechanic or a focused gameplay mechanic. Make it simpler. Design it. A game about the Flash should just be about going fast, is what it should be about. It should be Sonic, basically. Make a Sonic Flash game. Not a Sonic Flash, like Animation Flash, but you know what I'm trying to say. Angels Art and Gaming, thank you, Super Chat. I'm working on a script for which Smash Brothers character has a TV show and or movie, and how am I doing more research than a comic artist? Yeah, exactly. Yellow Flash is a mystery. Actually, what even... Maybe I should do a video on Yellow Flash at some point. He's a weird dude. Yeah, how are his videos doing right now? He had 3 videos in the last day. 4 videos, really. Maybe 5. Man, these are all not doing so great. I mean, granted, like these are like numbers I will do, which is fine, but like they're numbers for like he has like 500,000 followers. Like very consistent in the 30s, 40s, 60s. None of these are doing fantastic. Have any of these crossed 100,000 in the last month? No. Oh, here we go. 2 here. Last of Us 2 when it first came around, and Doctor Who shills apparently just crossed 100,000. Okay. But still, that's for as many videos as he's put out, and they're all short. They're all like 10 minutes, 8 minutes. Fairly simple. Oh, here we go. Last of Us 2 again. Okay, so Last of Us 2 he ground on until no one cared anymore. Okay, that makes sense. Rachel Zegler. Yeah, he's not really doing his best anymore. What was his best? This guy was at his peak. What was he doing? What was he bringing in? Million. Okay. It's not so bad. Strange. Okay, Gina Carano. Trump politics. Bud Light. He has over 5,000 videos, almost 6,000 now. And, a lot of them are way past their prime. A lot of I Am Not Starfire videos, which is a very nothing comic, I think. Very basic takes. None of them are really that interesting either, looking at them. That's lame. He might not be interesting enough to discuss, honestly. A lot of slop thumbnails. It's very underwhelming stuff. User225. Current DC games feel very CW, not in a good way. Agreed. They feel very safe, very generic, very basic. Gavin Careth. DC needs to control single-player content like Marvel is controlling multiplayer at the moment. I think DC especially needs to not do the same genres as Marvel. I agree. Which is why it's such a shame they closed the Monolith Studios and let Wonder Woman as a game get canceled. That's not good. That's the worst thing they could have done. Because now they gotta start from square zero. And what are they going to do? Go back to Batman Arkham? Arkham's ran its course. We need different games. I love Batman. I want to see more Batman games. Do something different. You know? Give us Wonder Woman. Give us Superman. Give us Green Lantern. Give us The Flash. You have so many... Hell, give us Constantine. You know? Give us a survival horror game about Constantine. I would love that. The guy, 493. Just another boring right-wing grifter. Yeah, he's boring is the problem with Yellow Flash. He's not interesting. It's a shame there's not enough interesting enemies anymore. Not enemies, I hate the phrase of that. There's so few interesting people to examine in terms of the critical landscape sometimes. Their style is boring in the same way. Yellow Flash is boring in the same way that John De La Ruse is boring. They're the same content. There's no innovation. There's no distinct voices. Hell, if you played a Yellow Flash video and then a John De La Ruse video, I would barely be able to tell who's who based on their voice. They sound the same, in my opinion. They're all so NPC-like. Whereas I think people who care about the craft and examination and literature and the critical analysis, they make an effort to put their own spin on things. They're interesting. Everyone else, they're the same. You're competing in a very tightly knit niche. Everyone's the same. It's all cannibalism of the views. And only viewers like the critical drinker stand out because he has that dumb gimmick about him drinking, But that stands out. That's distinct in its own way, They're a hive mind. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up very shortly, but before I do, I want to give you oh, wow. Oh, cool. Looks like, yes, let's do that. It looks like I got an update on my upcoming thumbnail. Do you want to see the thumbnail for Friday's video? Do you want to see it? Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see Friday's thumbnail real quick before we wrap up? Chat, you want to see a preview of Friday? Yes, no, maybe so? Getting no feedback on this one. Okay, that's fine. Oh, sure. Okay, cool. Works out. Now I'm getting everything. Yeah. Let's take a look. So the artist on this one is actually different. I'm using a different artist, one you may be very well familiar with, though. Good old friend of the channel, Crimson Ender, is working on this video, this thumbnail art right here. Crim, of course, is working on a Five Nights at Freddy's videos this Friday. We're both doing some Friday 13th content, and we're excited and hyped for it. It's incomplete. It's not done yet, this thumbnail. But I am excited to get this out here. It's going to be a trip for certain. I am hyped as all hell for this. This has been a really fun project to work on. Crim's art right here is fantastic. I gotta tell him he has to put like a apostrophe there because he has a little bit of a typo, but that's fine. He does a good job with some Springtrap here. There's some rotting here. I love that. Oh yeah. No, see, there's gonna be some fun stuff in this one. I've gone deep. I've gone a century deep on this topic. And it's mainly going to be 90s, 80s, 2000s, 2010s. But we go back way further than 40 years. We go back to the 30s and 40s on this one. It's going to be good. It's going to be good, I think. Yeah, Stephen Gamel's art is incredible. Nick Wolf, look forward to your talk on Freddy Krueger Bear. Yeah, right. But don't forget, we do have this figure right here. I'm sure you know. Can anyone figure out what this is a reference to? This little icon right here? No? Maybe I need a hint here. One of my favorite children's horror stories. I sent Krim this image and told him, hey, can you just put this in my thumbnail? And he said, yeah, I can do that. Oh, I adore The Haunted Mask as a story. I think The Haunted Mask is a really good horror story for kids. The Infamous Mike, thank you for that. Have you read non-superhero comics? Yes. Yes, I have. I've read tons of non-superhero comics. I was reading, back when I was working with CBR, I'd interview Paper Girls, frickin' Saga. Off the top of my head, those come to mind first, but Walking Dead, of course, I was reading. Mouse, obviously. A lot of Alan Moore's non-superhero work. Again, From Hell, I've read. Those off the top of my head, real quick ones. But for the sake of the video, I was reading through a lot of the old Tales from the Crypt stories, the old EC Comics stuff. There's tons and tons of comics there. Of course, I'm going to remember like 50 titles I should have remembered off the top of my head much sooner. When I think about it, Lumberjanes, which is always cool. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, this is Friday's video. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be... So, Nimona, of course. Of course, Nimona. Love Nimona. Yeah, Krim's art's fantastic. He is very talented. And again, when you see mine, tune in on Friday to see Krim's. I'm going to make a reference to it in the thumbnail and credits of my video. But it's going to be a lot of fun. They did come back recently. Casual Comics did a recent video on the EC Comics relaunch. It's a lot of fun. But yeah. So that's all I got to talk about today. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I really am grateful for you all coming here. Don't forget, I'm going to be working on a multitude of different projects over the next couple of weeks. Big charity stream coming up. Friday the 13th video is hopefully going to be pretty good. I'm hoping FNAF draws some people in. We'll find out. We have and of course, next week we'll be talking about Riri Williams. So, be a lot of fun. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to end early so I can do some editing work on the video and see my spouse for a little bit. You know, shock of all shocks, want to see my spouse. You know what, everyone? It's going to go right to the chase. Right to the point. Take care, everyone.